Chapter 2597. What is Feng Wu's placing? 2. Chapter 2597. What is Feng Wu's placing? 2. However, by the time they reached the 400th name, they still hadn't seen Feng Wu's name. Well, she must be in the 300s then, the students thought. 300th wasn't that different from 400th. However, Feng Wu's name was nowhere to be found in the 300s. Zhao Zhen's mind was blown. It had never occurred to her that Feng Wu could be so capable. Lu Qi was terrified. She murmured, "How is that possible? We only have 300 names left, but we still haven't seen her name." Zhao Zhen and Lu Qi's bet was on 250th place. If Feng Wu was ranked lower than 250th, Lu Qi would win. Otherwise, Zhao Zhen would win the bet. 290, 280, 270. Still nothing. Lu Qi opened her eyes so wide that her eyeballs almost popped out. She couldn't believe it. Feng Wu was just a new student. Could she really be a genius? Gu Xingyuan and Chu Juning weren't all that surprised. They had both seen what Feng Wu could do and believed that she was a level 6 spiritual lord, which would make her one of the best students in Class E. However, Gu Xingyuan believed he was more powerful than Feng Wu and should be the top student. Most of the students in Class E hadn't seen Feng Wu demonstrate her power before, and they were utterly shocked. Lu Qi was as restless as an ant on a hot pan. She pressed her palms together and murmured, "Please let Feng Wu be the 250th. Don't let her go up further." Her friends gave her sympathetic looks. Lu Qi kept her eyes shut when she asked, "Where are we now? Can you see Feng Wu's name?" Her friends didn't answer. Lu Qi's heart sank. She shouted, "Answer me. There are 230 names left, and Feng Wu's hasn't come up yet." Lu Qi couldn't believe her ears. She thought she was going to faint. She had lost the bet. How was that possible? Lu Qi stared at the big screen and started searching the list from the 250th name down. She looked at each name, but didn't find Feng Wu's name anywhere. She wouldn't give up and searched 2 more times. As expected, she still didn't get the result she wanted. So many people were looking for Feng Wu's name. It was improbable that they had all missed it. 180th. That's Feng Wu. Lu Qi shouted. She shouted so loudly that her voice cracked. Her friend tugged at her sleeve. "Calm down. That's not Feng Wu. That's Feng Wu." Lu Qi took another look and saw that her friend was right. There were only 180 names left now, but Feng Wu's still hadn't shown up. Lu Qi began to lose hope. Her entire group was crestfallen. After all, they had already lost the bet to Feng Wu's fans. They were only here because they wanted an answer. What would Feng Wu's ranking be? 170, 160, 150. Still no Feng Wu. That's the 100th. Feng Wu is in the top 100. Still no Feng Wu. Feng Wu is definitely in the top 100 now. Feng Wu's fans were thrilled. They had never thought they would get such a pleasant surprise. The anti-fans looked defeated. Chapter 2598. What is Feng Wu's placing? 3. Chapter 2598. What is Feng Wu's placing? 3. The neutral group was curious about how many more surprises Feng Wu could give them. 90, 80, 70. Still no Feng Wu. Still no. Mu Qianqian was watching the big screen as well. Sun Jingyu wanted to roll her eyes. It then occurred to Mu Qianqian. Right, she defeated Mr. L. Sun Jingyu gave her a dirty look. Mu Qianqian immediately stopped talking, but she kept looking from side to side. She looked at the students behind her and was smug when she saw how the others waited curiously for Feng Wu's name to show up. They were already excited now, but it wasn't going to stop anytime soon. Feng Wu could kill Mr. Luo with one strike. Mu Qianqian felt so proud to have been on Feng Wu's team. Zhao Zhen grabbed her arm. "Qianqian, look, we only have 50 names left, and we're still waiting for Feng Wu's." Mu Qianqian feigned a calm tone. "Only 50? Don't get excited just yet. Wait and see." That was all she would reveal. She then turned her head away, unable to conceal the satisfaction in her eyes. Many people heard what Mu Qianqian said. Both Zhao Zhen and Lu Qi heard her. Their eyes widened in disbelief. Seriously? 50 names to go, and still no phone woo. Lu Chi shook her head. No, it couldn't be. 40, 30, 20, and the names stopped scrolling. No one made a sound, because that was the standard procedure. When there were only 20 names left, they didn't come out in groups of 10s. Only one name would pop out at a time now. The more important thing was, we're still waiting for Feng Wu's name. The minds of a neutral group were already blown. Feng Wu's fans were thrilled. The anti-fans began to waver. They had been so confident at first that they could destroy Feng Wu's reputation, but with everything that had happened, they weren't so sure anymore. This world valued power more than anything else, and everyone worshipped the most capable warriors. They didn't dislike Feng Wu because they held a grudge against her. It was mainly because she was considered useless. However, if they believed Feng Wu had been wronged, the guilt could quickly turn them into her fans. A student in the last row quietly moved into the neutral group, where Lu Chi couldn't see. More followed, especially in the back where people couldn't see. Before long, nearly 100 people switched sides and joined the neutral group, while Lu Chi was having too much of a breakdown to notice. The names were shown one by one. 20, 19, 18, all the way to the 10th. Then, the screen paused. OMG. The anti-fans had stopped talking altogether, and it was the neutral group's turn to be shocked. Am I seeing things? Feng Wu is unbelievable. We only have 10 names left. 10. So she's in the top 10. Hearing the murmurs, Sun Jingyu and Pei Si looked at each other. Neither seemed surprised. Top 10. Maybe that meant a lot to other people. Chapter 2599. What is Feng Wu's placing? 4. Chapter 2599. What is Feng Wu's placing? 4. Feng Wu probably wouldn't blink even if she were first. That was how outstanding she was. The names of the last 10 students appeared on the screen one after another. Fourth was Pei Si. What? The students were astonished when Pei Si's name showed up. How? That was Pei Si. She used to be second on the billboard, but she had dropped 2 places. That meant that Feng Wu was better than her. Sun Jingyu was third. SSSS. Everyone drew in their breaths. Sun Jingyu was the class president and had always been the most capable student of Class E. She was third now. That is to say, Feng Wu is one of the top 2 students. She's only been here for a few days, and she's already surpassed last month's best student. Why did they call her useless? Who said that? Fess up now. Many people became Feng Wu's fans immediately after realizing that she outranked Sun Jingyu, who had originally been the class's top student. The naysayers kept moving away from their old group to join the neutral one. 100, 200, 300. There had been 500 of them at first, but there were only 250 left now. The neutral students were gradually joining the fans as well. The number of fans grew to 500. Feng Wu wasn't aware of any of this. She stood there with her hands behind her back as if none of this concerned her. It didn't. She put all her effort into cultivating and improving her skills. Even standing in the middle of the square with all eyes on her, she could still cultivate in her head. Around her, everyone was busy making bets. Do you think Feng Wu will be first? Not in a million years. We still have Gu Xingyuan. That's right. His team won first place, and he's the best team member this time. Feng Wu can't beat that. Zhao Zhan said, that's because Xiao Wu went to challenge Wang Junwen in Class D and didn't have time to hunt. But many people ignored her. In the end, almost everyone believed that Gu Xingyuan would be first. Gu Xingyuan thought the same. He smiled confidently and waited for his name to come out. He was going to crush Feng Wu. The second last name came out while everyone watched the screen in excitement. Gu Xingyuan. No one could misread that name. The moment he saw his name, Gu Xingyuan felt as if someone had punched him in the head, making him dizzy. Second. He was second. How was that possible? He had been too confident and couldn't accept the result. Meanwhile, everyone remained perfectly silent. They held their breaths. Just like Gu Xingyuan, they found it hard to believe. Sun Jingyu and Pei Si were about the only people who weren't surprised. Zhao Zhen covered her mouth and almost screamed. If Gu Xingyuan is second, that means that the top student is... The answer couldn't be any more obvious. Chapter 2600 Provocation 1. Chapter 2600 Provocation 1. It couldn't be any more obvious. Was it Fengwu? Was she really going to be first? Although the students were reasonably certain of the answer, there could still be exceptions. All three groups stared at the big screen, along with Sun Jingyu, Pei Si, Ziling, and Chaoga. Whoosh! The last name appeared on the screen. Fengwu. It really is Fengwu. Oh my god, Fengwu is first. Seriously? Am I seeing things? Or has this world gone insane? They didn't want to believe it, but they had to. All eyes were on the girl in the red dress. She already had delicate features and was unbelievably beautiful. Right now, she was standing there as if no worldly matters could affect her. Moreover, she had been proven to be a genius, which only added to her appeal. More people were leaving the anti-fans group. The number of Fengwu's fans grew again. Lu Chi's friends tried to warn her. People are leaving. What should we do? Turning around, Lu Chi saw that there were less than 300 people left in her group, and she shouted in utter astonishment. Everybody should stay where they are. Don't go anywhere. However, her people had lost faith in her and wouldn't listen. Lu Chi shouted, "It has to be a misunderstanding. Fengwu can't be first. She just can't." Just then, they heard approaching footsteps. Everyone looked up involuntarily. It was Wang Junwen. Didn't she almost die a short while ago? How had she recovered so fast? There were 4 other people with her. Lei Bao and Yu Hong were both by her side. The other 2 people were also top students of Class D. They went up on the stage, and Wang Junwen pointed her sword at Fengwu. "Fengwu, I'm challenging you." Fengwu, on the other hand, she was still cultivating and was on her way to becoming a spiritual king. She had completed 10% of the process and was hoping that she could finish another 1% before the test was over. She was busy cultivating when Wang Junwen challenged her. She was too absorbed in her cultivation to hear Wang Junwen. However, many students frowned at Wang Junwen's actions. Sun Jingyu was the first to intervene. "Junwen." Wang Junwen silenced her with a dirty look. "Shut up, you traitor." Sun Jingyu was infuriated, but she was intimidated by the people Wang Junwen brought with her, so she didn't say anything else. Wang Junwen then pointed at Pei Si before she could open her mouth. "You better keep your mouth shut, too." Needless to say, Pei Si was furious at the public humiliation. Wang Junwen stood on the stage and stared at Fengwu with a taunting look on her face. She smirked. "What now? You've gained fame by using me, and you're now too afraid to do anything, aren't you? Guess what? You won last time because you ambushed me." Ambush? Lu Chi's eyes lit up. Did Fengwu defeat Wang Junwen because of an ambush? Chapter 2601, Provocation 2. Chapter 2601, Provocation 2. Lu Chi became confident again and went back to slandering Fengwu. The neutral group remained neutral. The fans refused to listen to Lu Chi. No matter what Wang Junwen said, they still believed that Fengwu was a capable cultivator. Therefore, they confronted Wang Junwen. Zhao Zhen spoke first. "Wang Junwen, this is Class E's territory. Why did you bring so many people here? A challenge? We're in Class E, and you're in Class D. One can hardly call that a challenge, don't you think? Aren't you afraid that people will laugh at you?" Yu Hong smirked. "Fengwu dare to say that she's better than Wang Junwen, which is a total lie. Why can't we expose her?" "A lie." Chaoga couldn't take it anymore. "Didn't Xiao Wu defeat Wang Junwen? Didn't she kick you away? Was that a lie too?" Yu Hong's face flushed in frustration. "Yes, both he and Wang Junwen lost. That was why they brought more people to help them this time." Yu Hong smirked. "Cut the crap. Just answer me. Are you going to accept the challenge or not?" When Fengwu finished her cultivation, She woke up to find Wang Junwen glaring down at her. She had thick bandages wrapped around her neck. From afar, it almost looked like she was wearing a scarf. Feng Wu frowned. What now? Wang Junwen glared at her. 5 to 5. Do you accept the challenge? Feng Wu asked, what do you mean? Sun Jingyu quickly explained to her. It's a common practice here in the academy. Each side has a team of 5 people, and the members will perform one-on-one battles. She wasn't sure if Feng Wu could follow, so she added, each team selects a player, and the 2 players will battle. The winner will remain on stage, and the losing team will choose a second player to go up, and so on and so forth. A player only leaves the stage when they lose the battle. The last person left on stage is the winner, and their team wins. Sun Jingyu then lowered her voice. If you ask me, I don't think you should accept the challenge. Feng Wu asked why. Sun Jingyu glanced at the other team and said, that very tall man is Lei Bao. He's 2 meters tall and is ranked quite high on Class D's billboard. I don't think you're his match. There's more. She pointed at the 2 people next to Lei Bao. They're Hua Yin and Hua Su. They're brothers and are both very capable. I wouldn't stand chance. Then there's Wang Junwen and Yu Hong. You can defeat them, but we can't. She said thoughtfully, you can defeat 2 or 3 of them, but you can't fight all 5. I suggest you turn down the challenge. Wang Junwen smirked when she heard what Sun Jingyu said. What? Are you afraid? Sun Jingyu said, we're from Class E. Normally, we aren't your match. So what if we're afraid of fighting you? Wang Junwen didn't expect Sun Jingyu to be so frank and was rendered speechless. The other Class E students didn't like the way Sun Jingyu put it. Those people had come to their own territory to insult them. Although she was telling the truth, it didn't make it any less frustrating. Lu Qi was still trying to incite her classmates. If not for Feng Wu, we would never have to go through this. It's all her fault. The number of anti-fans began to increase again. Chapter 2602, Provocation 3. Chapter 2602, Provocation 3. Xiao Wu, don't say yes. Ziling tugged at Feng Wu's sleeve and shook her head. Be patient in one moment of anger, and you'll escape 100 days of sorrow. The other students of Class E were all infuriated, but they tried to talk Feng Wu out of it as well. Forget it. We won't blame you. Just tell them no. There are 5 of them. You can never defeat them all. You'll be killed for nothing. We know you're capable. You're the top student of our class, but you can't beat Class D. Lu Qi and her friends couldn't wait to see Feng Wu's downfall, whereas both the neutral group and Feng Wu's fans tried to persuade her to not accept the challenge. Wang Junwen sneered at Feng Wu. Would she say no? Feng Wu said, sure. Sure? What was that supposed to mean? Everyone gave her strange looks. Wang Junwen was taken aback as well. She stared at Feng Wu and asked, is that a yes? Feng Wu nodded. Yup. Wang Junwen couldn't believe it at first, but she was then elated. Feng Wu must have lost her mind. One idiot. She said yes. Fearing that Feng Wu would go back on her word, Wang Junwen said, today feels like a good time. Let's do it now. Xiao Wu. The people around Feng Wu all looked at her in astonishment, including Sun Jingyu and Pei Si. Feng Wu said casually, I have a request. Wang Junwen asked, what is it? Feng Wu said, Class E doesn't stand much of a chance in a 5-on-5 battle against Class D. We won't become your punching bags for nothing. You're going to give us some points as a reward. Wang Junwen had been about to tempt Feng Wu with points in the first place, so she wasn't surprised by the request. How many points are we talking about? Feng Wu said, if we win, you'll give each of our 5 players 5,000 points. No way. Wang Junwen stared at her. One person can transfer no more than 1,000 points per month, so 1,000 a player is all I'm going to offer. Mr. Zhu had told Feng Wu that rule before, so Feng Wu didn't object. She nodded and said, all right. Wang Junwen asked, what if you lose? Feng Wu said innocently, aren't we your potential punching bags? Do we have to lose points as well? Forget it then. Wang Junwen had come here to kill Feng Wu in public. Feng Wu never put a hit on her head, so Wang Junwen only had an excuse to kill Feng Wu in a duel. She gritted her teeth. Fine. Have it your way. If your team wins, each player will earn 1,000 points. If you lose, you can't blame anyone for your death. None of us can. Feng Wu said, "All right, you have 10 minutes to choose your players," said Wang Junwen. Only so many people in class he could take up the challenge, and Sun Jingyu and Pei Si would definitely be in the team. Wang Junwen was determined to teach them a lesson for betraying her. Feng Wu then turned to her friends. Chaoga said, "Count me in." Ziling said timidly, "I won't help you much in the battle, but if Xiaowu needs me, I'll join in." Feng Wu nodded. She then turned to Sun Jingyu. Sun Jingyu's stomach lurched. This was the thing she feared most. She gave Feng Wu a pleading look. "I've offended Wang Junwen, and part of her rage is directed toward me. I'm worried that." Feng Wu kept her gaze on Sun Jingyu. Chapter 2603, Provocation 4. Chapter 2603, Provocation 4. Sun Jingyu said, "If you have to have me on the team, I guess I can do it." Feng Wu then turned to Pei Si. Pei Si said, "I think Gu Xingyuan would be a better choice, wouldn't he? He's the second best student in our class, and will have a much better chance." In other words, she didn't want to be on the team. Before Feng Wu could ask, Gu Xingyuan crossed his arms, distancing himself from the crowd. He snorted, "I'm not cleaning up after you." He then moved further away from Feng Wu. Chu Junying gave Feng Wu a contemptuous look and followed Gu Xingyuan. The students became very quiet. It was supposed to be a 5-person team, but there were only 4 members now. Feng Wu, Chaoga, Ziling, and Sun Jingyu. Chaoga looked at Mu Qianqian. Mu Qianqian hesitated. Just then, someone walked up to Feng Wu. "Boss Wu, what about me? If you can't find a 5th member, count me in." It was Zhao Zhen, the head of Feng Wu's fan group. Feng Wu didn't know who she was, so Ziling introduced her. Wang Junwen was pleased when she saw how hard it was for Feng Wu to put together a team. She chuckled coldly. If you have a death wish, feel free to join her team. In other words, she was going to be ruthless. Feng Wu asked Zhao Zhen, "Aren't you afraid?" Zhao Zhen was so nervous that her hands shook, but she was equally excited. She shook her head solemnly. "I'm not afraid." Feng Wu said, "Good. You're in." Feng Wu gathered the other 4 around her and told them her strategy. Her team members cried out in surprise. What? What? How can we do that?" In the distance, their classmates were all confused. What was Feng Wu's strategy? Why were they so surprised? They were still wondering when Wang Junwen shouted in a sarcastic tone, "Can we start now?" Feng Wu nodded and led her team to the stage. A high platform about 100 square meters wide stood at one end of the square. It was the battle arena of Class E, and all tests were taken there. Pei Si gave Sun Jingyu a sympathetic look when Sun Jingyu walked past her. "You should have said no." Sun Jingyu smirked. "Since I've chosen Feng Wu, I'll stick with her no matter what. I'm not a fence-sitter like you." Pei Si said, "You're an idiot." Sun Jingyu walked past Pei Si with her chin raised. In fact, she was crying inwardly. She would never have come up here if her hand hadn't been forced. She kept her struggle to herself. All 10 people went up to the stage. Wang Junwen looked at each of Feng Wu's team members in turn until her gaze landed on Feng Wu. She sneered at them. "Who's the first one?" Wang Junwen was the first player on Feng Wu's team. Ziling stepped out and walked up to Wang Junwen. Wang Junwen's eyes glinted coldly. She hadn't heard of Ziling's name until she investigated Feng Wu. She now knew that Ziling was in the same dormitory as Feng Wu. Wang Junwen had brought a lethal weapon with her, something she had borrowed from her uncle, Mr. Wang. That was why she had volunteered to be the first player. She thought that she could kill Feng Wu all by herself. Since Ziling was Feng Wu's fan, she decided to teach the girl a lesson. Ziling hopped around like a bunny and bowed when she was in front of Wang Junwen. "Hello, Sister Wang Junwen." Feng Wu crossed her hands behind her back and smiled. If Wang Junwen knew what her plan was. Chapter 2604, Shocked One. Chapter 2604, Shocked One. Xinyu was furious when she noticed that Lu Xiao couldn't keep his eyes off Ziling. Do you care so much about her? They had fought numerous times because of Ziling, so Lu Xiao ignored her. Xinyu smirked. You better stop caring. Do you see the look in Wang Junwen's eyes? She looks like she's going to swallow Ziling whole. She's going to be relentless, and Ziling is as good as dead. Lu Xiao still didn't respond. Xinyu was so frustrated that she prayed for Ziling's death. She was going to be disappointed. After Ziling greeted Wang Junwen with a bow, Wang Junwen snorted. Are you ready? Ziling nodded. Yes. Wang Junwen had just picked up her sword when Ziling said, I give up. What? Everyone was astonished. Xinya's mouth fell open. Pacey didn't know what to say. All the students couldn't believe their ears. She gave up, just like that. They were expecting to see Wang Junwen beat up Ziling and blood splash everywhere, but none of that was going to happen. Wang Junwen was obviously shocked by what Ziling said. She stared at Ziling. What did you say? Ziling said innocently, I said I give up. The rules don't say that I can't do that. Am I not allowed to give up? Today, Ziling wore a cape with white fur trimming, and the hood had fluffy rabbit ears on it. Her hair accessories were tiny fluffy orbs that swayed when she walked, giving her an adorable look. When she looked at Wang Junwen, she was as innocent as a bunny. Wang Junwen was so furious that she thought she was going to explode. Ziling ran back to her team and gave her team members high fives. Wang Junwen didn't know what to say. The other students were all speechless. Xinyu said, Damn it, why won't she die? Lu Xiao glanced at her and wondered when the kind Xinyu became so vicious. She wanted Ziling to die. That was horrible. At that thought, he took a step away from Xinyu, but Xinyu was too overwhelmed by her rage to notice. Zhao Zhan was the second player to go on stage. She was as lovely as Ziling walking up to Wang Junwen. She said sternly, You're a student of Class D, but you're forcing us to take part in this 5-5 battle with you. That's preposterous. Even if you win, this unequal contest won't bring you any honor. Wang Junwen didn't know what to say. She had never expected a petty student of Class E to insult her like that. She was determined to kill Zhao Zhan. However, before she could do anything, Zhao Zhan rested her hands on her hips and smirked. I'm not fighting a bad person like you. It won't be a fair battle. I give up. She quickly ran off the stage after that. Wang Junwen's eyes widened. She had been insulted for nothing. And it didn't stop there. Sun Jingyu was the next player, and she gave up as well. Wang Junwen could live with that because Sun Jingyu wasn't all that close to Feng Wu, so it was only normal that she didn't want to die for her. But Chaoga was a different story. She hardly ever left Feng Wu's side. However, even she walked up to Wang Junwen, snorted, and said she gave up. She ran off the stage as well. Chapter 2605, Shock 2. Chapter 2605, Shock 2. Wang Junwen was so furious. She would vent all her rage on Feng Wu, the last player. Feng Wu's other teammates all gave up and didn't have even a single scratch on them, but that also meant that they stood very little chance of winning. That was what everyone else believed. Led by Lu Qi, the anti-fans started doing their thing again, spreading all sorts of rumors about Feng Wu. The neutral ones didn't say anything, but they were all frowning. Feng Wu's fans felt defeated. Despite the frustration, they managed to stay strong. They cheered for Feng Wu and tried to explain Feng Wu's defeat, saying that it wasn't a fair battle. Up on stage, Wang Junwen stared at Feng Wu. She decided that Feng Wu wasn't going to get away this time. She said, Feng Wu, are you going to act like a coward and give up just like your teammates? If so, I'll despise you as well as all of Class E. That was a clever thing to say. She tied Feng Wu's behavior to the honor of all of Class E. Damaging her own reputation would be the same as damaging that of their class. If Feng Wu admitted defeat without fighting, the whole class would hate her. All the students of Class E stared at Feng Wu. What would she do? If she gave in, she would be disgraced together with Class E. If not, she would have to fight all 5 people, including Lei Bao, who was supposed to be very powerful. What choice would Feng Wu make? Feng Wu glanced at her and nodded. Wang Junwen stared at her. Are you giving up? Feng Wu rolled her eyes at her. You talk too much. Wang Junwen's eyes widened. Feng Wu said, just get on with the fighting already. What's with all the trash talk? Don't you know that talking too much can get you killed? Me? Killed? Huh. Wang Junwen laughed. We're going to fight until one of us drops. If that doesn't scare you, bring it on. Feng Wu said, all right. Wang Junwen was elated. She didn't give Feng Wu time to react and struck at Feng Wu's head with the saber that contained Mr. Wang's full power. Oh no, Sun Jingyu murmured. Everyone looked at her. Sun Jingyu said, the saber belongs to Mr. Wang, and he can infuse it with his spiritual essence. That is to say, Wang Junwen borrowed his power. Gosh, what is Feng Wu going to do? Many people paled. Wang Junwen was from Class D, and she had borrowed Mr. Wang's power to boot. Feng Wu wouldn't stand a chance. Can she somehow dodge that blow? That's impossible. She's going to die. She shouldn't have agreed to fight to the death. Now, no one can avenge her anymore. Everyone was talking at the same time. They were right. The saber was indeed Wang Junwen's secret weapon. She had received it from Mr. Wang, her uncle, and the saber contained his full power. The attack would be terrifying if she exerted all the energy at once. She was confident that she would win. However, when she struck at Feng Wu jumped up and kicked at the edge of the blade. The saber's energy backfired, and Wang Junwen became the target instead. Chapter 2606, Shocked 3. Chapter 2606, Shocked 3. There was no way that Wang Junwen could withstand such power. Thud! The blade hit her on the head. It instantly split her skull open. What? Everyone stared at Wang Junwen and the saber buried in her skull. Then, their gazes shifted to Feng Wu. Wang Junwen's head is cut up. She's dead. What did Feng Wu do? I don't think she did anything. She just jumped up and kicked the saber. Then Wang Junwen is dead. This turn of events shocked everyone. Their mouths hung open, and they didn't know how to react. They weren't the only ones. Wang Junwen's 4 friends were equally baffled. Yu Hong ran to Wang Junwen's side and held her body in his arms. He screamed her name. Junwen! Junwen! They had managed to save Wang Junwen when her neck was cut open, but her head was split in two now, and there was nothing they could do. Yu Hong kept banging his fists against his head. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. You barely escaped death, but now. If I had known, I would have stopped you. The students of Class E didn't know what to say. If Yu Hong hadn't brought it up, they would have forgotten that Wang Junwen had been defeated by Feng Wu once. She didn't even wait an hour before she came here, trying to get revenge with that saber. However, she couldn't be brought back to life this time. She totally had it coming. I don't know if I should feel sorry for her or laugh at her. No one showed any sympathy. Not only that, they also laughed at her, making her death seem pathetic. Yu Hong put down Wang Junwen and walked up to Feng Wu. Feng Wu glanced at him. Shall we begin? Begin? Yu Hong didn't want to die. He knew perfectly well how formidable Feng Wu was. I give up. Yu Hong gave Feng Wu a dirty look before leaving. Everyone was speechless. Wang Junwen had despised Feng Wu's teammates for giving up. What Yu Hong did was practically mocking her. The 3rd and 4th players in Wang Junwen's team looked at each other. The battle between Feng Wu and Wang Junwen was proof enough of Feng Wu's capability. There was no need to struggle. They had no chance at all. Both players admitted defeat without putting up a fight. The students of Class D had given up. Feng Wu frowned. I still think we should have a battle. I promise I won't kill you. The 3rd player flushed and walked away. The 4th player considered the offer and made up his mind. Let's do it then. Feng Wu kept her promise. They exchanged quite a few blows before she kicked the player off the stage, saying, "Good job." The player thought, "No, it wasn't. You could have defeated me with a single blow." Flushing, he cupped his fists at Feng Wu and ran off. Late, Bao was the only player left. Chapter 2607, Shocked 4. Chapter 26:07. Shocked 4. Lei Bao's eyes glinted coldly. It had cost Wang Junwen quite a few points to convince Lei Bao to join her in battle. Since he had taken the reward in advance, he thought he should see it through. Now that Wang Junwen was dead, he couldn't return the points and had no choice but to fight Feng Wu. He stared at her. Let's do this. Feng Wu was far more capable than Lei Bao and could easily kill him, but she didn't want to create any unnecessary trouble. Wang Junwen had it coming, but Lei Bao was a different story. After all, killing people should be avoided if one could help it. Feng Wu casually exchanged a few blows with Lei Bao before kicking him off the stage. Wow, the crowd was shocked when Lei Bao was defeated. Did Feng Wu win the battle? Lei Bao is a capable fighter even in Class D, and he just lost the battle to Feng Wu. Oh my god, Feng Wu is such a hidden treasure. Earlier, when Feng Wu became first on the billboard, Lu Qi and her friends tried to convince themselves that it was a mistake with the system. Now, however, they couldn't deny the fact that Feng Wu had defeated Lei Bao. Lei Bao lay flat on his stomach on the ground, too baffled to move. He had lost. How did that happen? A student from Class E had defeated him. Had this world gone insane, or had the students of Class E made unexpected improvements? The students of Class E weren't helping either. Is Class D getting weaker? Why do I feel that they're not as tough as before? Am I correct to assume that if I go up there, I can kick some of them off the stage as well? There I was, wondering how tough Class D was, and here they are, having lost a 5-on-5 battle to our class. The third and fourth players in Wang Junwen's team were utterly embarrassed. They picked up Lei Bao and were ready to leave. Wait, Feng Wu stopped them. Yu Hong said, Feng Wu, you've killed Wang Junwen. What more do you want? You need to back off. Feng Wu glanced at him. What's your relationship with Wang Junwen? Yu Hong said, I was her boyfriend. Feng Wu said, good. Pay up. Wang Junwen promised each of us 1,000 points. We're ready to receive what we're owed. Yu Hong's cheeks flushed in frustration. Students of Class D could earn points a little faster than those of Class E, but the points were still as valuable to them as to everyone else. He didn't have 5,000 points to spare. I don't have so many points. Yu Hong flushed. Feng Wu crossed her arms and smiled at the four students of Class D. You don't have them, you say? In that case, no one is leaving. Everyone else was goggling at the four people, and Lei Bao couldn't stand the humiliation. He gritted his teeth and said, I have them. He paid all 5,000 points for his teammates. After that, they practically fled the scene. The students of Class E were still trying to digest the information. Feng Wu had won the battle. Not only that, she also killed Wang Junwen. What was more, she defeated Lei Bao. Moreover, she received 5,000 points from Lei Bao. 5,000 points. Everyone in Feng Wu's team would get 1,000 points each. What did the other four players do? Nothing. They jumped onto the stage, stood in front of Wang Junwen, and said they gave up. They promptly left the stage after that. It was the most straightforward task, and they all earned 1,000 points for it. Earning points was always a difficult thing to do. Chapter 26:08. Formidable Feng Wu 1. Chapter 26:08. Formidable Feng Wu 1. It was the most straightforward task, and they all earned 1,000 points for it. Earning points was always a difficult thing to do. The attitudes of the students of Class E toward Feng Wu had utterly changed. They now worshipped the ground she walked on. Pacey regretted it so much. She smacked herself on the forehead. She could have grabbed the chance while she had it, but she had been too scared to do so, and had turned down the offer. She had said no to 1,000 points. She had only needed to tell Wang Junwen that she would give up in order to earn 1,000 points. Pacey was so frustrated that she was almost in tears. What was more, the looks her classmates gave her made her feel like a fool. Despite their astonishment, the students discussed the matter avidly among themselves. Zhao Zhen and other fans of Feng Wu capered about, shouting and laughing. Zhao Zhan was kind enough to distribute her points so that all her fans received a little reward. Because of that, they became even more excited. Lu Qi and her fellow anti-fans felt utterly defeated. They were filled with rage, but had no way to vent their frustration. Even more students had left the group and switched sides to the fans. Nothing Lu Qi said could persuade them to stay, and she stomped her foot in rage. She gave Feng Wu a dirty look. "What are you smiling about? You really killed Wang Junwen this time. Mister, Wang will make you pay." Her friend tugged her sleeve and whispered, but they were supposed to fight to the death. They agreed to it beforehand. Lu Qi snorted. "So what if they did? Mister, Wang won't be able to do anything openly, but he can make her life miserable in 100 ways. Just wait and see." Her friends nodded, looking forward to seeing Mr. Wang's revenge. Mr. Zhu didn't know whether to laugh or to cry. Feng Wu was more courageous and capable than he had expected. He thought that if His Royal Highness really cared about her, as much as he was rumored to, she had every reason to be courageous. Something happened before the crowd scattered. "Do you hear that? Those are heavy footsteps." They turned around to find a large group of people. They were students of Class D. There were so many of them. There were at least 1,000 students. The Class E students paled. What do these people want? Soon, they were faced with all the Class D students. There were indeed over 1,000 students. They were led by Mr. Wang. The energy the Class D students gave off was too much for Class E to withstand. Their eyes were bloodshot red, and they looked like they were going to collapse. Mr. Zhu stepped forward and stared coldly at Mr. Wang. "Mr. Wang, what are you doing?" Mr. Wang ignored him and only stared at Feng Wu. Frustrated, Mr. Zhu studied the aggressive Class D before looking at Mr. Wang again. "Mr. Wang, please explain yourself. Are they all here to start a group fight with Class E?" Mr. Zhu raised his voice. Mr. Wang glanced at him and snorted. "We teachers should stay out of it. It's a student matter." He then moved aside with a vicious look in his eyes. Chapter 2609, Formidable Feng Wu 2. Chapter 2609, Formidable Feng Wu 2. Wang Junwen was dead. Although Mr. Wang had paid Class E a visit, Wang Junwen had still been killed in the end. The humiliation was too great for Mr. Wang to bear. When he stepped aside, someone said quietly, "This is a student matter. Mr. Zhu, please leave it to us." It was Wu Lingwei, the 11th student on Class D's billboard and the most popular girl in the class. Mr. Zhu frowned and gave Feng Wu a concerned look. It was evident that these people were here because of Feng Wu. Feng Wu smiled at Mr. Zhu and gave him a nod. Mr. Zhu finally stepped aside. "So, you're Feng Wu." Wu Lingwei was alarmed as soon as she saw Feng Wu. What a beautiful girl, she thought. Feng Wu had exquisite features and the smoothest skin. She wouldn't blink even if Mount Everest crumbled in front of her. No worldly matters seemed to be able to affect her. Wu Lingwei was jealous. She felt threatened. It was said that Feng Wu had defeated Lei Bao. That was to say, she was definitely good enough to join Class D. When that happened, Wu Lingwei wouldn't be the most popular girl anymore. She deemed Feng Wu the enemy of her life at first glance, but Feng Wu had no idea of any of it. Wu Lingwei stared at Feng Wu. "You killed Wang Junwen. You insulted my classmates. Kneel and apologize." Wu Lingwei pointed at her classmates behind her and raised her chin when she spoke to Feng Wu. No matter how pretty Feng Wu was after she knelt on the ground, no one would respect her after she went to Class D, and Wu Lingwei could still be the most popular girl. Kneel and apologize? Chaoga was furious. She pointed at Wu Lingwei and said, "I'm warning you. You've crossed the line." Wu Lingwei raised her hand and was going to slap Chaoga. How dare a mere Class E student talk to me that way? However, as soon as she made a move, Feng Wu stepped out and slapped Wu Lingwei instead. Smack! The crisp sound resonated in the air. Feng Wu had slapped Wu Lingwei. It was the last thing everyone expected to see. Wu Lingwei was like a princess in Class D. Many boys were in love with her. As expected, everyone was astonished. They couldn't believe how bold Feng Wu was. Wu Lingwei was the first to react. She stared at Feng Wu and said, You. She covered her right cheek and didn't know what else to say. She had been slapped. She couldn't believe it. She glared at Feng Wu. You hit me. How dare you? All her classmates took a few steps forward, and nearly all the boys stood around Wu Lingwei. Wu Lingwei was both the class president and their dream girl. Feng Wu, do you think I'm too afraid to kill you? Wu Lingwei gritted her teeth. Feng Wu glanced at her and asked sarcastically, Can you? Wu Lingwei was rendered speechless. The pretty girl standing next to her said, Lingwei, you don't need to show her mercy. Wu Lingwei nodded and said to Feng Wu, You forced Wang Junwen to fight to the death and humiliated my classmates. It's too late for you to apologize now. Chapter 2610, Formidable Feng Wu 3. Chapter 2610, Formidable Feng Wu 3. Feng Wu, prepare to be challenged. Wu Lingwei smirked. Feng Wu was a little intrigued. Wu Lingwei said, You're going to fight to the death because that was how you killed Wang Junwen and humiliated my class. We're going to do the same to you. Face your death. The Class E students were shocked. Seriously? Another challenge? That was twice in a row. Sun Jingyu lowered her voice. We're in trouble. Chaoga smirked. No, we're not. Just beat them. Sun Jingyu frowned. You don't know what you're talking about. Class E students usually have to pass an exam to get into Class D. That is to say, they're generally better than us. Chaoga said, So what? We won, didn't we? Slash. Sun Jingyu said, That's not the same. Lei Bao was their best fighter. Although we consider him a capable fighter, he's only an average student in Class D. Look at the people Wu Lingwei brought with her. Sun Jingyu was almost in tears. Wu Lingwei is 11th herself, and the teenagers behind her are ranked from 6th to 10th. Chaoga said, I don't care what their rankings are. Xiaowu can beat them all. Sun Jingyu was too frustrated to speak. Feng Wu couldn't possibly beat them all because there were 1,000 Class D students here. Feng Wu found Wu Lingwei's suggestion idiotic. Why should I do as you say? After being slapped by Feng Wu, Wu Lingwei wanted to kill her this instant. She asked coldly, What would it take to make you participate? Feng Wu asked, What kind of fight will it be? Wu Lingwei said 1,000 Class D students will take turns fighting 1,000 Class E students, one at a time. Feng Wu glanced at her. Are you trying to turn us into your punching bags? We're not idiots. No way. Wu Lingwei grew impatient. You made a bet with Wang Junwen earlier, didn't you? Using points as the stake. Feng Wu's eyes lit up. What are you suggesting? Wu Lingwei said, We can do the same. Feng Wu said, Our agreement with Wang Junwen was that we would earn points if we won, but if we lost, we didn't need to pay anything. Wu Lingwei said, I can live with that. Feng Wu said, If you lose, each of your team members will give us 1,000 points. Wu Lingwei said, I can live with that. Feng Wu looked at her in amazement. You do realize what you've agreed to do, right? Wu Lingwei smirked. I do, but we have one more request. Feng Wu asked what? You'll be the first in line. You need to fight first. Wu Lingwei smirked. You're going to be our first punching bag. She didn't want that I give up fiasco to happen again. And you're not allowed to admit defeat. If you agree to that, all of us will offer 1,000 points each as the stake. Agreed? She asked the Class D students behind her. Students of Class D were so angry because Yu Hong had gone back to tell them that Class E had humiliated Class D. That was why they had come here, full of anger. Agreed, the students of Class D said in unison. Wu Lingwei sneered at Feng Wu. Feng Wu shrugged and asked the students of Class E, We can all earn 1,000 points for free. Isn't that a sweet deal? Chapter 2611, Formidable Feng Wu 4. Chapter 2611, Formidable Feng Wu 4. Class E was intimidated by Class D at first, but seeing how calm Feng Wu was, they felt much more reassured. Zhao Jin had enjoyed being part of the last bet, and was the first to step out. I'll do it. Feng Wu's other fans followed suit. I'll do it too. Count me in. Count me in. So what if they might be beaten up for nothing? Feng Wu needed their support. They were all prepared to lose their fights. Feng Wu currently had 700 fans. The neutral group remained unbiased. Lu Qi immediately saw what she had to do. She needed to stop them from switching to Feng Wu's side, so that Feng Wu would be even more humiliated. Slash. She snorted. Are you people idiots? You know you're going to lose, but you're still supporting Feng Wu. Zhao Zhen asked, how do you know we'll lose? Lu Qi said, are you blind? Do you know who they are? They're from Class D. Do you know what that means? They had to pass a test to get there, which means that they used to be the best students of Class E. Frankly speaking, the weakest Class E student is still better than our top student. Zhao Zhan said, but Xiaowu, she's an exception. Can't you see that? Even if she can beat 50 or 100 people, can she defeat 1,000 of them? Zhao Zhen didn't know what to say. Lu Qi said, it's an impossible fight. You'll never win and will be beaten up for nothing. That's not even the worst-case scenario. What if they kill you? You'll die for nothing. The neutral party didn't know what to say. Lu Qi said, only idiots will join Feng Wu. She turned around and saw that there were fewer than 200 anti-fans left. They all stood there, showing no intention to fight. Very nice. Just then, Sun Jingyu said, since the honor of Class E is concerned, as the class president, I have to do something. After joining Feng Wu, Sun Jingyu looked back at her fellow classmates and smirked. Have you forgotten how Class D picks on you all the time? If you want to swallow that humiliation, be my guest. Pei Si regretted missing out the first time and wasn't going to miss this opportunity. She joined Feng Wu's team as well. Only when we're too scared to fight will we truly lose the battle. I don't want to lose. Seeing that the previous top 2 students had joined Feng Wu, even the neutral group grew excited. Class D won't stop picking on us, and they've come to our doorstep. That's right. It was a fair fight. One of them died in battle, and they're making it sound like it's our fault. They've crossed the line. Why do we even become martial arts practitioners? To swallow this kind of humiliation? You do what you want, but I'm going to fight. Members of the neutral group joined Feng Wu's team one after another. The team was filled up almost instantly. There were only 2 places left. Where is Gu Xingyuan? Isn't he the second best student in our class now? How can he miss such a big event? That's right. Does he value the honor of our class at all? The students glared at Gu Xingyuan. They used to respect him, but that had changed. Chapter 26:12, 1 verses 1001. Chapter 26:12, 1 verses 1001. Since Gu Xingyuan was second on the billboard, it was only natural for him to step up when his class was in trouble. However, Gu Xingyuan crossed his arms and smirked. Chu Juning tugged at his sleeve. Shall we pretend to give them a hand? Gu Xingyuan gritted his teeth. I'll give anything to see her killed. His classmates were speechless. Their impression of Gu Xingyuan immediately deteriorated. I don't care what grudge he holds against Feng Wu. When the honor of this class is concerned, he should put aside his personal vendetta. Class D has humiliated our class, and we're going to fight for our honor. It's not about Feng Wu. That's right. We're defending our dignity. Wu Linghua frowned. She had been told that everybody in Class E despised Feng Wu, but why were they defending her now? So be it. Soon, they would all hate Feng Wu. Wu Linghua stared at Feng Wu and said coldly, each team will consist of 1,000 students. I don't care in what order your classmates will take the challenge, but you have to be the first player. Feng Wu turned around and said to the other students of Class E, we'll go in the order of your rankings on the billboard, from top to bottom. She was to go first, followed by Sun Jingyu, Pei Si, and the other students. Class D students were doing it the other way around. The first player was the 1,000th student on Class D's billboard. Wu Linghua sneered at Feng Wu and thought, she thinks she's so amazing, does she? She'll be killed by the exhaustion. She was eager to see how long Feng Wu could endure. Chang Ji was ranked 1,000th on Class D's billboard. Wu Linghua was his goddess, and Feng Wu had just slapped Wu Linghua. Because of that, Changji hated Feng Wu. He smirked at her and said, "How dare mere class E student behave so arrogantly? I'm going to kill you." However, Feng Wu brushed him away before his fist could touch her. Changji flew to the side, fell to the ground, and was incapacitated. The other students were all speechless. The students of Class E had seen how Feng Wu handled Wang Junwen before and weren't surprised, but the students of Class D didn't expect to see this. One punch. How could a Class E student be so capable? She took out Changji with a single punch. Feng Wu frowned. "This is too slow. Why don't you come all at once?" All at once. All 1,000 of them. That was ridiculous. The students of Class D felt humiliated. How dare she do this to us? She must have a death wish. That's right. We should teach her a lesson. The 999 student went over to Feng Wu and shouted, "Go to hell." Before he could utter another word, he was sent flying backward. Feng Wu shook her head at Wu Lingwei. "You guys are so slow." Wu Lingwei felt her cheeks burn. The weakest student of Class D was supposed to be better than the strongest student in Class E. This wasn't supposed to happen. Wu Lingwei stared at Feng Wu. "The rule says that we should fight in turn, but if you insist, we can send 2 players at a time. That would be faster," so Feng Wu nodded. The 998th and 997th students went up on stage together. They exchanged looks before they sneered at Feng Wu. "What a bold request. You're going to regret it." Thump! Feng Wu kicked both of them away before they could say another word. Chapter 2613, 1 verses 1002. Chapter 2613, 1 verses 1002. The 998th and 997th students flew off in different directions. Feng Wu's classmates were amazed. They knew Feng Wu was good, but they didn't think she was that good. The Class D students frowned, and their faces darkened. The 996th and 995th students went on stage. Then the 994th and 993 RD. This continued until the 894th and 893rd, and Feng Wu lost her patience. "Can you send more people?" Wu Lingwei was speechless. So were the students of Class D. "Isn't she tired after so many battles?" One of the students said gingerly she only needed to use 1 kick each round, which probably isn't too demanding. Wu Lingwei glared at her. The student lowered her head. Wu Lingwei took a deep breath. "We'll go in groups of 3s. That didn't change anything. None of the groups could withstand a single strike. Wu Lingwei said, 4 then. Feng Wu still didn't need to strike twice. She yawned. "I'm getting sleepy. You guys should put more effort into it." The 555th student had just been kicked off the stage, and he wanted to cry when he heard those words. "Put more effort into it? She makes it sound like we don't want to, but we never get the chance. She kicks us off the stage before we can figure out what to do. How humiliating." Feng Wu urged Wu Lingwei. "Send more people." Wu Lingwei was shocked. She looked like she had seen a ghost. When Yu Hong and his friends said that Feng Wu was good, Wu Lingwei hadn't thought much of it. After all, how good could a Class E student be? However, they were down to the 555th student, and they had gone in groups of 4s, but she still managed to kick away 4 people with a single kick. No one had seen her use a second strike. Was she even human? Class D was crestfallen, while Class E was astonished. Feng Wu has just defeated the 555th student in a 1-on-4 battle. Does that mean that if she enters Class D now, she'll be at least 555th among them? She kicked away 4 students, including the 555th, all at once. Do you still think that she'd be the 555th? What are you suggesting? Just wait and see. I'm looking forward to the final outcome. Do you think it'll be like last time? Maybe none of us needs to fight, and we'll each get 1,000 points for free. Lu Qi sneered at her classmates, finding their conversation stupid. Are you idiots? Can't you see that it was the weaker ones who went on stage first? They've only sent out 555 students, and the capable ones have yet to come. The Class E students immediately stopped cheering. That's right, the stronger players haven't gone up to the stage yet. They didn't know how long Feng Wu could keep doing this for. Meanwhile, Feng Wu asked Wu Lingwei, "Can you send more people?" More people? Why was she asking for more people? Wu Lingwei looked resentfully at Feng Wu. She was embarrassed that they still hadn't been able to make Feng Wu strike twice, so she nodded. "We'll attack her in groups of 6 students." Feng Wu shook her head. "Don't be so stingy. What good can 6 people do?" Chapter 26:14, 1 verses 1003. Chapter 26:14, 1 verses 1003. Stingy? Wu Lingwei was furious. "Fine. I see you're very proud of yourself." Wu Lingwei turned to the next group of 6 students. "You know what to do." The leader of the group was a teenager called Yuan Shan, and he nodded. "Our top priority is to defeat Feng Wu." "Yes." Wu Lingwei clenched her fists. However, she was doomed to be disappointed. Thump, 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 thump. Just like before, the 6 students were kicked off the stage. They created large holes in the ground when they landed. Wu Lingwei was speechless. So were the other students of Class D. Feng Wu shook her head at Wu Lingwei. "I told you so." Wu Lingwei was speechless. She had sent over 500 classmates up on stage. 6 such students put together should be equivalent to at least one top 400 student. This Feng Wu. Students were applauding. They were Feng Wu's fellow classmates and had been prompted by Chaoga. The applause continued. All the Class E students rose to their feet excitedly and shouted as they clapped. "You're amazing, Feng Wu. Keep up the good work. Go get them." Her fans were so thrilled that they jumped to their feet. Feng Wu fought 6 opponents at once, and it only took her 1 strike to beat them. Her fans were so proud of her. The students of Class D were so frustrated that they all clenched their fists and wanted to fight Feng Wu. Some even asked Wu Lingwei to send them up next. Everyone was shouting at the same time. Wu Lingwei almost lost control of the situation. Over on Class E's side, hearing the hubbub, Feng Wu gestured downward with her palm. Everyone instantly quieted down. It was amazing how easily she got everything under control. Feng Wu turned to Wu Lingwei. "I'm getting sleepy. I want to go to bed." Wu Lingwei's eyes widened. "Are you going to quit now?" Feng Wu rolled her eyes at her. Chaoga chimed in. "We told you to send more people, but you wouldn't. Why are you so fussy? Can't you read between the lines? Send more people." The Class E students were used to being bullied by Class D and had never felt so satisfied before. Hearing what Chaoga said, they hooted, "Send more people! Send more people!" Even Sun Jingyu and Pei Si joined in. Seeing how popular Feng Wu had become, Guxing Yuan was displeased. Wu Lingwei gritted her teeth and stared at Feng Wu. "I was going to make it easy for you, but you wouldn't take the chance when you had it. Fine, you'll get what you want." She gave the order. "Next 10, you're up." The 10 students were thrilled. Finally, they could save Class D's dignity. However, thump, 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 it still only took Feng Wu 1 kick. The 10 students flew backward. Wu Lingwei was speechless. They all fell off the stage and landed on their heads. When they were pulled out of the holes created by the impact, their heads were covered in blood. It was a shocking scene. The students of Class D didn't know what to say. The students who had yet to go up were frightened. They weren't much more capable than those people. Would the same thing happen to them? Wu Lingwei said, "Send 20. 10 more people couldn't make a difference. It had still only taken Feng Wu 1 kick. Chapter 26:15, 1 verses 1004. Chapter 26:15, 1 verses 1004. Things moved much faster now that they were fighting in groups of 20 students. Before long, there were only 50 students left, including Wu Lingwei. At the same time, all the students in both classes were astonished. Feng Wu, how could she be so capable? There were fewer than 100 students left, and no one could even touch her. Was she even human? The students of Class E were the most excited ones. They had joined the fight on the spur of the moment. But once they could think straight again, they were shocked by their own choice. They were going to confront the students of Class D. It could get them killed. However, they had already said that they would stand alongside Feng Wu. It would be too embarrassing to back out, so they decided to wait and see. Then, they watched as Feng Wu annihilated Class D. It was one-on-one battles at first, and it soon became one-on-2, one-on-4, and all the way to one-on-20. Feng Wu kept winning. She finished every battle with a single kick. Was she even human? In Class E, Sun Jingyu clapped until her palms were all red, but she went on clapping. She knew she had underestimated Feng Wu, but she realized that underestimated was an understatement. Pacey was so astonished that she didn't know what to say. The thought of her previous attempt to assassinate Feng Wu made her want to look for a hole to crawl into. Countless people capered and clapped, but many people were displeased as well. Lu Qi was one of the displeased ones. The students who didn't join the fight sat slightly further away. Damn it, Lu Qi was furious. She couldn't understand how Feng Wu could be so capable. Lu Qi, do you think Feng Wu will defeat all of them? One of Lu Qi's friends asked timidly. Nonsense, Lu Qi shouted. That's not going to happen. They still have 50 students to go. Although the top 5 students are out on a mission, what they have here is enough to crush Feng Wu. But what if? Lu Qi smacked her forehead. You're right. Go find Washan and the others. Now. Washan was the top student of Class D. Feng Wu looked at Wu Lingwei while Wu Lingwei stared back at her. Feng Wu sighed. How many people do you have left? Wu Lingwei ground her teeth. 50. Feng Wu casually suggested. How about you send them all in one big group? Wu Lingwei asked. Do you think we're that weak? Feng Wu snapped. I don't want to think that way, but can you persuade me otherwise? Shut up. You've crossed the line. She's humiliating us, and I won't have it. All the Class D students reacted strongly and demanded, let us fight her. They all wanted to be the next to fight Feng Wu. Wu Lingwei felt conflicted. Having observed Feng Wu for this long, she knew perfectly well that none of her classmates could beat Feng Wu in a one-on-one battle. Fine. All 50 then. Wu Lingwei made up her mind. Wu Lingwei, what's that supposed to mean? All 50? That's not fair. One of the Class D students questioned her decision. Wu Lingwei ground her teeth. Of course, she wanted one-on-one battles, but Feng Wu wasn't that kind of an opponent. She wasn't even sure if 50 people would be enough to take Feng Wu down. Chapter 26:16, Lost Again 1. Chapter 26:16, Lost Again 1. Fine. All 50 then. Wu Lingwei made up her mind. Wu Lingwei, what's that supposed to mean? All 50? That's not fair. One of the Class D students questioned her decision. Wu Lingwei ground her teeth. Of course, she wanted 1v1 battles, but Feng Wu wasn't that kind of opponent. She wasn't even sure if 50 people would be enough to take Feng Wu down. I said 50, so 50 it is. Wu Lingwei gritted her teeth. Everybody who wasn't a top 10 student nodded, because they were all shocked by Feng Wu's capability. They had never met a new student as good as she was. However, the 6th to 10th were all proud students, so they all said no. Wu Lingwei stomped her foot. Why? That's the best choice for us. The 6th, said 50 people is too many. It's not fair to her. All the students of Class D and Class E heard him. The students of Class D were so furious and didn't think much of what he said, but the students of Class E opened their eyes wide. Was he too arrogant or hypocritical? If a 1v50 battle wasn't fair, would 5 fewer people make a difference? They protested, saying that Class D had crossed the line. Wu Lingwei stared at he. Feng Wu had agreed to a 1v50 battle. They should take advantage of it. They would all have to pay 1,000 points if they lost. Class D would go bankrupt. No matter what Wu Lingwei said, he shook his head decisively. If all 45 lose, we'll get the points back for you. Wu Lingwei was furious, but Feng Wu only said, are we fighting or not? You can always surrender. That way, no one will get hurt. Those words set Wu Lingwei off. She stomped her foot and glared at Feng Wu. Of course we're going to fight. You said you could fight 50 people at once. It's not like we're taking advantage of you. Feng Wu casually said, I thought it would make things move faster. Wu Lingwei said, I see how arrogant you are, Feng Wu. Let's see how long you can keep it up. Get her. The 11th to the 55th, Wu Lingwei included, charged at Feng Wu together. What would happen to Feng Wu? The Class D students were excited. They were sure that Feng Wu would lose this time. They had no problem with having 45 students fight Feng Wu. The Class E students disagreed. They were anxious when they saw the 45 students running at Feng Wu. The three groups still existed. The number of Feng Wu's fans had continued to grow all this time. They switched from being anti-fans to the neutral camp before becoming Feng Wu's fans. There were fewer than 100 anti-fans left and over 1,000 fans. Zhao Zhen felt overwhelmed. Most of the Class E students were displeased. How can they do this? Chapter 2617, Lost Again Too. Chapter 2617, Lost Again Too. That's ridiculous. 45 people. They're ranked from 11th to 55th in Class D. At that level, the 45 of them can probably defeat Mr. Luo of our class. It isn't a fair match even if they win. Before, it was 50 of US who used to fight one student in Class D. Things have turned around. But no matter how capable Feng Wu is, she's not invincible. She's only 14 years old. How is she going to fight all those older students? I protest this decision. Mu Qianqian looked at the players on the stage and asked nervously, Boss Feng Wu is going to lose, isn't she? Before she knew it, Feng Wu was her boss. Sun Jingyu also thought that Feng Wu had almost reached her limit, but then she recalled how Feng Wu had struck Mr. Luo unconscious with a single blow. So she said, I don't know about that. Somehow, I feel that Feng Wu will show us a miracle again. Pei Si said, No, there won't be any miracles today. Everyone looked at her. She said, The 10th of Class D is a level 4 spiritual lord who has reached perfection in their cultivation level, and the 55th is an intermediate level 4 spiritual lord. There's no way that Feng Wu can defeat all of them. It's just not going to happen. Mu Qianqian said, The Class D students are so capable. Ziling wrung her hands, feeling worried. However, Chaoga smiled. They're only level 4 spiritual lords. The other students looked at her in resignation. Only level 4 spiritual lords? She made it sound like that wasn't difficult enough. They were still discussing among themselves when someone cried out. Look, the 45 students had formed a circle, trapping Feng Wu in the middle. They slowly closed in. It's a formation. Sun Jingyu, who had been confident about Feng Wu until then, shouted in surprise. It's a battle formation used specifically by the military. This is bad. The others asked her about it. Sun Jingyu said, This is a powerful formation that can double the effectiveness of their attacks. Isn't there a way to break it? Ziling asked anxiously. Sun Jingyu said, The 45 people must have a leader. Once that person is incapacitated, the formation will stop working. Otherwise, Feng Wu, the Class E students grew nervous. They hadn't expected things to go this far. Feng Wu was much more capable than they could ever imagine. She had defeated all her opponents so far, which only further raised their expectations. They were even considering the possibility that she could challenge the top student of Class D. We were asking too much of her. Feng Wu has already done a great job. If she had fought them one at a time, she would have made it to the top 3 of Class D. That's right. We can't ask for too much. While they were trying to lower their expectations of Feng Wu made her move. She looked up to find Wu Lingwei hiding from her. Wu Lingwei tried to hide behind another student. Really? Feng Wu smiled. The next second, she jumped into the air. Chapter 2618, Lost Again 3. Chapter 2618, Lost Again 3. Feng Wu moved swiftly toward Wu Lingwei. She grabbed the girl and threw her out of the circle. Thump! Wu Lingwei was 11th in her class. She was the most capable student in the group. There was nothing she could do when Feng Wu grabbed her, and by the time she realized what was going on, she was at the bottom of a crater. She was in so much pain that she didn't have the strength to climb out. He rushed to her side and scooped her out of the crater. When he examined her, he found that 3 of her ribs were broken. Everyone was looking at Wu Lingwei. They were amazed by how efficient Feng Wu's attack was. Before long, more than half of the group had been thrown off the stage. When the crowd finally moved their gaze from Wu Lingwei to the stage, they saw the students of Class D lying on the ground and crying out in pain. It was incredible. OMG, what's going on? When did that happen? I only looked away for a second. Everyone looked at Feng Wu in astonishment. How amazing! Wu Lingwei lay on the ground and stared at Feng Wu. Damn it! If I had been more careful, she would never have been able to. Her classmates gave her strange looks. Wu Lingwei couldn't finish her sentence. Meanwhile, the students of Class E jumped to their feet and applauded. They were so thrilled that they couldn't stop shouting. How uplifting! The students of Class E were buoyed by Feng Wu's achievements. Class D used to pick on them and would scold and hit them for no reason. Class E was at the bottom of the food chain. But now, every student of Class E was thrilled to the bone. There were fewer than 100 anti-fans left, and after this battle, even more people switched sides. Soon, there were fewer than 20 people left. Lu Qi was cursing at the top of her lungs, but it was to no avail. Even her closest friends were looking eagerly at Feng Wu's fans. On stage, Feng Wu was asking, "Are you ready to give in yet?" Give in? Wu Lingwei thought she would break down when over 40 of them couldn't do anything to Feng Wu. Most of the Class D students felt the same way. But she didn't want to surrender. Not yet. Wu Lingwei gave He a pleading look. He had been examining Wu Lingwei. Seeing that she wasn't severely injured, he nodded and turned to Feng Wu. "I'll fight you." Feng Wu frowned. "Just you?" He said. "Yes, just me." Feng Wu asked, "What's your ranking?" He said, "I'm 6th." Feng Wu looked at the 4 students behind He. "The 5 of you can form a team." He shook his head. "That won't be necessary. I'm more than enough to fight you." Chapter 2619, Lost Again 4. Chapter 2619, Lost Again 4. Feng Wu said impatiently, "I don't have that much time to waste. Either you come in a group of 5, or you surrender." That tone. If Feng Wu had said such things before today, she would have drowned in the criticism. All the students in both classes would have laughed at her for being so arrogant. However, everybody felt that Feng Wu had every right to make such a claim. He was furious. He stared at Feng Wu and said, "How conceited you are." Feng Wu said, "It'll only take 1 strike to defeat all of you." He smirked. "If you think so, I'll give you what you want. Guys, let's do this." He and the other 4 students charged at Feng Wu. The 45-people circle was too crowded for everyone to fight Feng Wu simultaneously, but the 5-member team was just the right size. However, Feng Wu made her move before they were close enough. It was just like she had predicted. She took care of all of them with 1 strike. "Good fight," Feng Wu said indifferently. The crowd was speechless. They thought they couldn't be any more astonished, but as it turned out, after all this time, they could still be shocked once more. Feng Wu is incredible. Those are the 6th to 10th of Class D, and it still only took her 1 strike. He was bragging about how he alone would be enough to fight Feng Wu, but look what happened. All 5 of them weren't enough. What is Feng Wu's level? Is she a level 5 spiritual lord? I think she's higher than that. While Class E was discussing it avidly, the students of Class D looked defeated. Wu Lingwei felt as if she had been struck by lightning. It took her a while to digest the situation. She was roused by Feng Wu's voice. Anyone else? Her eyes widened when she realized something. She was right to do so, because Feng Wu said something right after that. If there's no one else, pay up. She was talking about the points. Wu Lingwei wished that she had passed out. Because she was the most popular girl of Class D, she had made a bet with Class E on behalf of Class D, thinking that it would give her just cause to teach Feng Wu a lesson. However, it had never occurred to her that Feng Wu would be so formidable. She cursed under her breath. Seeing that no one would speak, Feng Wu frowned at Wu Lingwei. What? Are you going to go back on your word now? Hearing that, the students of Class E grew excited. That's right. We've defeated all 1,000 students. They've lost. Feng Wu defeated all of them. They couldn't even make her act twice. They didn't even fight her one at a time. They came in groups. Groups of 4, 5, and even 45. Since when are Class D students so weak? It's not that. Feng Wu is just so powerful. The students of Class E couldn't stop singing Feng Wu's praises. Not only did Feng Wu make them proud, she also earned them so many points. 1,000 points each. Chapter 2620, Unexpected Arrival 1. Chapter 2620, Unexpected Arrival 1. They hadn't even needed to do anything. Only 1,000 students of Class E had joined the battle, so about 500 to 600 students wouldn't receive any points. They had all once been Feng Wu's anti-fans, but now they hated Lu Qi. Feng Wu asked Wu Lingwei for the points which Class D owed Class E. Wu Lingwei wished she could pretend to pass out. She grew more and more anxious when a realization hit her. Wait, he wasn't the strongest student of Class D. He was only 6th. 5 more students were more advanced than he was. Those 5 were a team, and Huoshan was their team leader. Yes, they needed to find Huoshan. As soon as she realized that, she heard footsteps nearby. Footsteps. Everyone turned around to see a 5-student team. The leader was none other than Huoshan himself. Wu Lingwei was so excited that she was almost in tears. Huoshan! It's Huoshan! Wu Lingwei struggled to her feet despite her broken ribs and ran toward him. Huoshan, they've humiliated our class. We're counting on you now. She could finally think straight. She knew that Huoshan wasn't interested in her. She had both implicitly and explicitly expressed her feelings for Huoshan several times, but Huoshan had remained indifferent, which greatly frustrated her. She knew that Huoshan would probably ignore her if she asked him to get revenge for her, so she had to turn the issue into a matter of the entire class's honor. Everyone looked at Huoshan. More precisely, they looked at his team. They all had injuries on them. It was clear that they had gone through some brutal battle. Huoshan stood there empty-handed while the 4 people behind him carried game. The students didn't recognize what it was, but Mr. Zhu was surprised. It's a 4-horned blood lion, he cried out. The students asked, what's that? Is it tough to kill? Mr. Zhu took a deep breath and assumed an indifferent tone. They're level 5 spiritual lords that have reached their peak. What? The students gasped. Level 5 spiritual lord? Peak. The beast was covered in blood and was obviously dead. Hoshan's team had killed such a formidable beast. Wu Lingwei was elated. That proved how impressive Huoshan was. She thought, if they can lend us a hand, we'll win this battle, and we won't need to pay the points. She grabbed Huoshan's arm and shouted, Huoshan, our class needs you now. Please help us. The other students weren't deaf. Wu Lingyue's request was a hint. They all chimed in, asking for Huoshan's help. Huoshan frowned. What's going on? Wu Lingwei quickly filled him in on today's events and stressed. Not only did Feng Wu kill Wang Junwen, she also humiliated our class. We can't let her do that. Chapter 2621, Unexpected Arrival 2. Chapter 2621, Unexpected Arrival 2. Yu Hong and Lei Bao nodded in excitement. They had been thrilled when Wu Lingwei said that she would avenge Wang Junwen, but what happened later only disappointed them. Lei Bao had tried to tell himself that he hadn't done his best today, but when he saw what Feng Wu was capable of, he didn't dare utter a word. The students of Class D put all their hopes on Huoshan. Huoshan frowned and looked up at Feng Wu. One glance and he froze. He recognized that face. Why was she here? Wu Lingwei was still filling him in on what Feng Wu had done. Huoshan wasn't listening. He stared at Feng Wu without blinking. Huoshan was a member of the Martial Arts Society. Chun Ziun, the president of the society, had held a meeting with the core members before they went out on this mission. He carefully told them that the War Academy would soon have a new member. She was going to be incredible, and her name was Feng Wu. Not Switching Wan, but Feng Wu. He said that someone higher up the food chain had ordered him to protect Feng Wu once she arrived. It had to be subtle so that no one would notice. Miss Feng Wu was said to be excellent. Huashan didn't believe it at first. If the girl was so important, why would she go to Class East in the first place? But when he saw Feng Wu and all the Class D students that were howling on the ground, he asked involuntarily, "Did you really defeat every single one of them?" Feng Wu asked, "Do you want to join them?" Huashan jumped in fright. "Join what?" Feng Wu said matter-of-factly, "Join Class D's team, obviously." Huashan paled. Class C started protesting. "You can't do this. Our deal was 1,000 versus 1,000. You can't add 5 more people now." The students of Class D said, "Why can't we? Huashan is a member of our class. If you find it unfair, you can always add 5 more people to your team." Class C students said, "Why do we need 5 more people? Feng Wu alone is more than enough." Students of Class D gloated. "If you think so highly of Feng Wu, let her fight. We'll admit our defeat when she beats all the students in our class. We'll then transfer you the points." The students of the 2 classes had a row. Huashan's face went pale. Of course, he wouldn't dare fight Feng Wu. Chen Ziyun was his cousin, so when the others left, Huashan asked him in private who Feng Wu was and which prominent figure wanted to protect her. Chen Ziyun gave him a mysterious smile and pointed upward. Huashan was perplexed. "What do you mean?" Chen Ziyun said, "Do you remember young Lord Feng? He's my boss." Huashan said, "Of course I do. He's so famous here in the War Academy. Everybody knows who he is. Plus, he's the Crown Prince's childhood friend." Chen Ziyun chuckled. "He's the one who asked me to protect Feng Wu." Huashan asked, "Are Feng Wu and the young Lord an item?" Chapter 26-22, Unexpected Arrival 3. Chapter 26-22, Unexpected Arrival 3. "Shut up." Chen Ziyun threw him a dirty look. "Listen, it's about His Royal Highness." He whispered something in Huashan's ear before saying, "I'm only telling you this because you're my cousin. Don't tell another soul, or we're both dead." Huashan scratched his ear. That last sentence had been so loud that he thought his eardrums would break. His Royal Highness. Really? Huashan? Huashan. Seeing that Huashan was lost in thought, Wu Lingyue shouted his name. How could his mind wander off now? Huashan woke up from his reverie. Wu Lingyue was saying something to him, trying to egg him on. Huashan gave her an indifferent look before walking up to Feng Wu. Wu Lingyue grew suspicious. What was going on with Huashan? Why did it feel like he was being diffident? Wu Lingyue couldn't believe her eyes. Feng Wu also looked at Huashan suspiciously. She asked, "Are you going to join the fight?" Huashan was baffled. Feng Wu asked, "Do you want to fight me?" Huashan immediately shook his head. Of course not. He would never dare fight the future wife of the Crown Prince. Feng Wu asked, "Are you sure?" Huashan nodded. Feng Wu then asked, "So, what about the points you owe us?" She didn't care much about the points, but it would help her classmates greatly. Huashan said, "Of course we'll pay our debt. It's the right thing to do." All the other students were amazed. Students from both classes stared at him in bewilderment. Wu Lingyue was more shocked than the others. She never saw it coming. Huashan, not only wouldn't he fight, he also agreed to give away the points. Had he forgotten that he was a member of Class D? His classmates glared at him. Huashan could single-handedly defeat all his classmates, and he wouldn't let anyone challenge his authority. When his classmates glared at him, he immediately glared back. The look in his eyes intimidated the others, and they didn't dare look up again. Feng Wu smiled at Huashan. "Your name is Huashan, isn't it?" "Yes," Huashan said respectfully. The boss of his boss had given him the command. Of course, he had to obey. Feng Wu said, "In that case, can you collect the points for us?" She was only probing, but Huashan immediately agreed. "With pleasure." Wu Lingyue said, What pleasure! Huashan, why are you helping an outsider? She was furious not only because Huashan refused to help, but also because of his attitude toward Feng Wu. Wu Lingwei had tried to suck up to Huashan before, but he only ignored her. When Huashan walked past Wu Lingwei, he said coldly, "Such a loser." What? Wu Lingwei felt as if she had been slapped. Huashan asked his classmates, "Are you angry at me for not fighting for you?" Of course they were, but they didn't dare say it. Chapter 26-23 Unexpected Arrival 4 Chapter 26-23 Unexpected Arrival 4 Feng Wu had given Huashan a signed agreement, and Huashan showed it to his classmates. It's written here that each class would come up with 1,000 students. You've all lost, right? If that's the case, why are you asking me to fight? Can a signed agreement be changed so easily? Every student in Class D used to be in Class E before they passed the test, but now 1,000 of you have all been defeated by one Class E student. Aren't you ashamed of yourselves? The students of Class D were so embarrassed that they didn't know what to say. But Huashan was just getting started. He shook the piece of paper and laughed at his classmates. And that's not all. You fought her in groups of 3, 5, 10, and even 45. Still, you weren't her match. How can you bring yourself to say that it was unfair for you? It was unfair for them. They're a grade lower than you, and they put up with all your unreasonable requests, but you still lost so miserably. Do you have any shame at all? How could you make such requests? How were we supposed to know Feng Wu? Wu Lingwei protested, thinking that she was important enough to speak. But Huashan cut her off. He glared at her. Wu Lingwei, you're the ridiculous one. If you hadn't thought so highly of yourself and made such a reckless move, all our classmates would never have gotten involved in this farce. You're jealous of Feng Wu, and our class paid for your pride and narrow-mindedness. Wu Lingwei had never been so humiliated before and almost burst into tears. I just... Wu Lingwei's face was covered with tears. Why should I be jealous of her? What's she got? I'm not jealous. She couldn't understand why Huashan would take Feng Wu's side. Huashan smirked. What has she got? She's prettier and smarter than you. She's also more talented and more capable. She's better than you in every possible way. What? You don't want to admit it? Then convince me otherwise. Wu Lingwei was so frustrated that she nearly fainted. She couldn't stop crying. Pointing at Huashan, she shouted like a mad person. Why are you defending her? Are you in love with her? In love with Feng Wu? Huashan was scared out of his wits by that suggestion. Damn it, those words could get him killed. He knew he couldn't be the only one here who knew about Feng Wu's relationship with the Crown Prince, and if His Royal Highness heard such a rumor. I don't want to die. Huashan glared at Wu Lingwei as though she was his archenemy. Wu Lingwei couldn't understand why Huashan was so angry and scared. Yes, he was genuinely frightened. I'm not in love with Feng Wu. Huashan repeated, as if trying to convince someone else here. I'm not. It's true. Wu Lingwei smirked. Then why are you so protective of her? Are you her errand boy? Errand boy? Huashan's eyes lit up. That's right. I'm her errand boy. Do you have a problem with that? Chapter 26-24 Winner 1 Chapter 26-24 Winner 1 Damn! This time, everyone who heard Huashan was shocked. The students of Class E were speechless. So were the students of Class D. They stood there as if they had been struck by lightning. What a terrifying thing to say. Had Huashan been drugged? Did he know what he was saying? Even the teachers stared at Huashan as if they were seeing a ghost. Huashan, you mister. Wang, who had been watching in silence, couldn't help but speak up. Huashan nodded at him. It's true. I admire Feng Wu for her talent and capability, and I would do anything for her, but it has nothing to do with affection. He knew he couldn't be suspected of being in love with Feng Wu, not even slightly. According to Qin Ziyun, the Crown Prince almost beat young Lord Feng to death because there was a rumor that the young lord had feelings for Feng Wu. Everyone was speechless. In the end, Huashan scolded his classmates for over an hour, and they each paid 1,000 points. It wasn't that they wanted to, but they had no choice. Huashan said that anyone who refused to pay the points would be kicked out of Class D, which was an effective threat. The students of Class E couldn't believe their good luck. They had earned 1,000 points just like that. They still felt dizzy by the time the event ended. Did we just earn 1,000 points? Why do I feel like I'm dreaming? Pinch me. I need to know if I'm awake. Needless to say, not everyone was as happy as they were. The excited students were all those who had joined the fight, and they were mainly the neutral camp and Feng Wu's fans. As for Feng Wu's anti-fans, they naturally didn't participate in the fight because they were so sure that Feng Wu would lose. As a result, they didn't get to enjoy the reward. Seeing the 1,000 points that each of their classmates received, they were so jealous that they thought they would lose their minds. Many of them surrounded Lu Qi. Lu Qi said, "What? Are you going to hit me now?" One of them snarled, "We wouldn't have refused to join the fight if it hadn't been for you." Lu Qi was rendered speechless. She had genuinely believed that they were going to lose, and anyone in their right mind would have stayed out of it. These people wouldn't have joined the fight even if she hadn't stopped them. However, now that they didn't get the points, they lashed out at her because they needed an outlet. They surrounded Lu Qi and started beating her up. Meanwhile, Feng Wu was surrounded by many people. Their expressions were earnest and excited. Right now, they would lay down their lives for Feng Wu if needed. They followed Feng Wu and left. Feng Wu went back to room 2001. Many students wanted to sneak in to get familiar with Feng Wu. Chaoga stopped them all. She knew that Feng Wu didn't like unnecessary socializing, so she blocked the doorway. Xiao Wu fought so many battles, and she needs to rest now. I'm sorry, but she's not receiving guests at the moment. Chaoga and Zi Ling stood by the door and wouldn't let anyone in. Not even Sun Jingyu and Pei Si. The other students understood that decision. Chapter 26-25, Winner 2. Chapter 26-25, Winner 2. Chaoga had a point. Feng Wu had fought 1,000 students of Class D. She had to be exhausted. The crowd envied Zi Ling. Chaoga came here with Feng Wu, and the two of them had always been close. However, why was Zi Ling the lucky girl? Why did she get to hang out with Feng Wu? The other students wished they could switch places with her. They then recalled that Sun Jingyu and Pei Si had teamed up with Feng Wu before, so they had to know Feng Wu's preferences. Poor Sun Jingyu and Pei Si. They had never dreamed that they would be warmly welcomed one day because of Feng Wu. Chaoga wanted to talk to Feng Wu after she dismissed the crowd. "Xiao Wu, do you know Huashan?" Feng Wu shook her head. "No, I don't." Chaoga said, "That's strange. It seemed that he was trying to please you. He wasn't just being kind. He genuinely respects you, and you didn't even fight him. Is he that weak?" Ziling's eyes lit up. "Huashan is competent." Chaoga looked at her. Ziling clenched her fists. "Huashan is a level 5 spiritual lord at his peak. He's easily the best student of Class D. He's good enough to go to Class C, but he chose to stay back. Plus, he's so handsome. Over half of the girls in class have a crush on him. Wu Lingwei is in love with him, too." Ziling's face glowed when she talked about Huashan. Chaoga said, "Huashan is much better looking than Lu Xiao. If you like, you can have a go with him." Ziling blushed profusely before Chaoga could finish. "Don't say that. I'll never be good enough for him. If you say something like that again, I won't talk to you anymore." She ran off after that. Chaoga was dumbfounded. Fine, I get that she doesn't want you to say it, but she didn't need to run away, did she? Chaoga said impatiently. "I was only joking. She doesn't have to like him." Feng Wu shook her head. It was pretty apparent that Zi Ling liked Huashan as well. However, Feng Wu didn't want to interfere with other people's life decisions, so she didn't say anything. At the entrance of the dormitory, Ziling was stopped before she could rush out. "Ziling." Lu Xiao greeted her excitedly and grabbed her hand. "I've been waiting for you." Ziling's first reaction was to shake off his hand. Lu Xiao couldn't believe it. Ziling had brushed him off. "Ziling." Lu Xiao couldn't believe it. "I'm Lu Xiao. Why did you do that?" Ziling stared at him and came back to her senses. She looked from Lu Xiao to her hand and was amazed by her own involuntary move. She had lost many nights of sleep over him, but now she could push him away as quickly as that. She put a hand over her heart. It had stopped hurting. Seeing that Ziling had stopped talking, Lu Xiao thought she had changed her mind. So, he approached her with a smile on his face. Ziling, I'm Lu Xiao. I'm a man you love. Chapter 26-26, Winner 3. Chapter 26-26, Winner 3. Out of the corner of her eye, Ziling saw Zhenya running toward them. The idea of getting revenge made her want to smile. Brother Xiao. Ziling gave him a half-smile. Lu Xiao nodded excitedly. That's right. I'm your brother Xiao. Ziling said indifferently. But aren't you in love with Zhenya now? Lu Xiao sounded agitated. I'm not in love with her. I never was. Zhenya was running toward them, and she was shocked when she heard that. Ziling was satisfied when she saw Zhenya's twisted expression. She had been feeling depressed for a long time, and her mind was finally clearing up. They were right outside the dormitory, and many students were passing by. More people gathered around to enjoy the scene. Ziling asked, Did you say that you aren't in love with Zhenya and have never been in love with her? Lu Xiao nodded without hesitation. Ziling said, If that's the case, why did you sleep with her? I grew up with you. I was your fiancé. The other students' eyes widened when they heard this. What? That was something they hadn't heard before. Ziling had never tried to hide her relationship with Lu Xiao, but she had been a nobody before today's event, so no one paid any attention. But things are different now. Feng Wu made a name for herself after the battles. As her loyal friends, Chaoga and Ziling attracted much attention as well. Because of that, what Ziling said soon spread. It had never occurred to Lu Xiao that Ziling, who used to be a docile girl, could become so inflexible. However, he had his plan, so he had to put up with her attitude. He would abandon Ziling once he used her to get close to Feng Wu. Lu Xiao had never doubted his charm. After all, both Zhenya and Ziling were infatuated with him. Ziling, that was because Zhenya threw herself at me. I didn't want to, but you know what men are like. She was so willing, and I thought I shouldn't waste that opportunity. I didn't know she could be so sinister. She let you know what was going to happen and made sure you caught us in the act. Ling, I'm sorry about everything. Can you forgive me? If you say yes, I'll be your brother Xiao forever. Ziling stared at him. It was as if she had never known Lu Xiao before. That was so. She had never dreamed she would see such a shameless side to him. Ziling, seeing the astonished look on Ziling's face, Lu Xiao suddenly had a bad feeling. He was about to walk up to her when someone jumped at him. Smack! Zhenya slapped him with the back of her hand. Lu Xiao was dumbfounded. Zhenya wanted to hit Ziling, but Lu Xiao stopped her. Lu Xiao, did you say I threw myself at you? That's ridiculous. Zhenya bellowed. Yes, I got involved with you when you were still with Ziling, but you fell in love with me. You talked me into sleeping with you, but you're saying that I'm the one who started everything? Lu Xiao, you've crossed the line. Lu Xiao didn't expect that Zhenya would hear him, and he didn't know what to do. I... Chapter 26-27, Winner 4. Chapter 26-27, Winner 4. Ziling smirked. So, you're trying to get back with me when you haven't broken up with Zhenya. Lu Xiao, which one of us do you want to be with? Zhenya also smirked. That's right. Who is it going to be? Lu Xiao didn't know what to do. Zhenya was connected to Mr. Zhu and Miss Zhen, which gave her a lot of influence in Class E. However, Feng Wu was the one he wanted, and Ziling could make the introduction. At that thought, Lu Xiao turned to Zhenya. Zhenya, I'm really sorry. Zhenya stared at him in disbelief. Why? My dad is the tutor of Class E, and my mother runs the cultivation rooms. I've done you so many favors, but you're abandoning me now. I see. Zhenya pointed at Ziling. You're choosing her now because of Feng Wu, isn't it? Of course, Lu Xiao wasn't going to expose his real intention just yet. He apologized to Junya and made it look like he was ready to accept any form of punishment. Huashan and his friends were walking this way. They weren't going to join the onlookers, but Huashan changed his mind when he spotted Ziling. Meanwhile, Junya was glaring at Lu Xiao. Why are you afraid of her? My father is the tutor. Yes, Feng Wu is very capable, but once she goes to Class D, she'll forget about Ziling in no time. Lu Xiao gritted his teeth. Feng Wu wouldn't stay in Class E for much longer, and he had to move faster. With the shine of love gone, Junya immediately saw through Lu Xiao. She stared at Lu Xiao in disbelief. You're going to use Ziling to get to Feng Wu, aren't you? Lu Xiao glared at Junya. Junya knew Lu Xiao well. Seeing Lu Xiao's reaction, she knew she was right. She said, have you lost your mind? Do you seriously think Feng Wu will fall for you? As much as Junya disliked Feng Wu, she had to admit Feng Wu's capability. Even Huashan wanted to follow her. Who did Lu Xiao think he was? Lu Xiao shot her a warning look. Shut up. A few steps away, Huashan was shocked by what he just heard. Lu Xiao was trying to get to Feng Wu. Had he lost his mind? Feng Wu was His Royal Highness's girl. Before Huashan could move closer, Ziling picked up a rock the size of a basin and smashed it down on Lu Xiao's head. Lu Xiao was caught off guard. His head cracked open, and he passed out on the ground. He didn't even know why Ziling attacked him. Junya stared at Ziling in disbelief. How? How could you? Ziling threw away the rock and dusted off her hands. Xiao Wu would never look at him. And you? Ziling stepped forward and slapped Junya in the face. Smack! She used so much force that Junya almost flew backward. Ziling snorted. That's for everything you did to me. We're even now. The middle-aged moderator had always been a snobbish woman. So far, she still hadn't heard of Feng Wu's battle, and she still considered Ziling to be some kind of inferior student. Meanwhile, Chapter 26-28, Winner 5. Chapter 26-28, Winner 5. Seeing that Lu Xiao and Junya had been attacked, the moderator stepped out and scolded Ziling. No fighting in the living quarters. Get out now. You're banned from the dormitory for a month. Ziling stared at her. She was reminded of what a sycophant the woman was and how she treated Feng Wu. Ziling smirked. I have no problem with you helping Junya, but do you know how Mr. Luo got injured? It was Feng Wu who had done it. Because of the injury, Mr. Luo was still bedridden. The moderator stared at Ziling and wondered how she knew. It was Feng Wu's doing, Junya told the others. Now that Feng Wu had made public her capability, Ziling didn't mind Junya telling other people about it. She chimed in, that's right. Xiao Wu was the one who injured Mr. Luo. All the students were shocked. Feng Wu had injured a teacher. They didn't know she could do that. However, they didn't know what to say when they remembered Feng Wu's performance during the battles. Maybe she really could defeat a teacher. The moderator was taken aback. Feng Wu, as in the girl she had mistreated since the beginning. Ziling smiled. But what you don't know is that Mr. Luo tried to kill Feng Wu first, and there's no point denying it because there were plenty of witnesses. If anyone wants to defend Mr. Luo, they'll lose. Junya suddenly had a bad feeling. She was right to feel so. Ziling said, why did Mr. Luo want to kill Feng Wu? It was because he wanted to avenge a certain woman. Ziling grinned at the moderator. Feng Wu taught that woman a lesson, and that woman complained to her husband, who wouldn't do anything. Therefore, she went to see Mr. Luo. You've worked here for many years. I think you know what I'm talking about. After hanging out with Feng Wu for a while, Ziling had learned from the master. She was no longer a simple-minded girl. While they were talking, the crowd around them grew larger. The moderator's face darkened. So that was why her husband had been injured. That's bullshit. After calming down a little, she stared at Ziling and wouldn't believe what she had been told. If you don't believe me, ask Junya. She saw the whole thing. Chaoga arrived at that moment and smiled at the moderator. Sun Jingyu and Pei Si saw it too. They're right there. They can tell you what happened. Both Chaoga and Ziling remembered how snobbish the woman had been, and they wanted to return the favor. It just so happened that the woman had decided to take Zheng Yu's side today. Sun Jingyu and Pei Si smiled bitterly at each other. They had already picked their side. Sun Jingyu said, "They're telling the truth." Pei Si said, "Yes, I can prove it." The moderator stared at Zhenya. Zhenya's heart raced. Before she could say another word, the moderator went back to her room, grabbed a cleaver, and stormed off. Where was she going? Chapter 26-29, Genius Girl 1. Chapter 26-29, Genius Girl 1. Needless to say, she was going to cause some trouble for Miss Zhen. Poor Miss Zhen. She had no idea that a war was coming her way. Zhenya glared at Chaoga and Ziling, finding them extremely annoying. Lu Xiao was alarmed because things weren't turning out the way he had expected. Where was the obedient Ziling, he remembered. Ziling, are you really going to turn your back on Brother Xiao? You're so heartless. Chaoga was amused. She couldn't understand why Ziling would fall for such a pretentious man in the first place. She would be really disappointed if Ziling forgave him. Luckily, Ziling didn't let her down. She sneered at Lu Xiao. You hooked up with Zhenya when you were still my boyfriend, and you're accusing me of abandoning you now. I've never met anyone as shameless as you. Ziling's words felt like a slap to Lu Xiao's face. He was mortified. Overwhelmed by frustration, Lu Xiao snapped at Ziling. You were engaged to me once. If you don't marry me, you won't find a husband. You'll be alone for the rest of your life. He was delighted with what he said. He didn't know that someone else was paying close attention to Ziling with sparkling eyes. It was none other than Hua Shan himself. He pushed through the crowd and went to Ziling's side. Hua Shan? That's Hua Shan, the top student of Class D. I heard he's good enough to go to Class C, but he chose to stay in Class D. Hua Shan is so handsome. He's a wealthy heir. The Hua family is a huge clan. Many girls were talking about Hua Shan in affectionate tones. But Hua Shan only wanted Ziling. He looked in her eyes and asked, Ziling, will you be my girlfriend? What? Those words shocked everyone. Ziling couldn't look Hua Shan in the eye. She remembered how aggressive she had been and felt too abashed to face him. She was about to run off when he asked that question. Hearing what he said, even her hands turned pink. She felt so shy that she gave Hua Shan another look before dashing off. Hua Shan was dumbfounded, and he asked Chaoga, was that a yes? Chaoga said, take a wild guess. Hua Shan didn't think he should go see Feng Wu now, but he still asked Chaoga to give Feng Wu his best wishes. Chaoga liked Hua Shan because he had shown Feng Wu respect. By the way, Hua Shan added before he left, the tutors are having a meeting to discuss if they should put Miss Feng Wu in Class D or Class C. If Miss Feng Wu has any preferences, please let me know in advance. I can pull some strings. Chaoga delivered the message to Feng Wu. Meanwhile, a meeting was taking place, just like Hua Shan said. The head of the academy was absent as usual, and the meeting was led by two deputies. Zhuo Qingwan had replaced Zi Xuan. Gong Sunmu had been told what was going on, and he took Feng Wu's side. The other participants of the meeting included Mr. Zhu of Class E, Mr. Wang of Class D, Mr. Yin of Class C, and the tutors of Classes A and B. Chapter 2630, Genius Girl 2. Chapter 2630, Genius Girl 2. Feng Wu is an interesting girl. Mr. Yin of Class C smiled at Gong Sunmu. I didn't know she could do that, defeating all of Class D on her own. Mr. Wang of Class D didn't like the sound of that. He rolled his eyes at Mr. Yin and said, if you don't know what to say, you can keep your mouth shut. Mr. Yin laughed. Am I wrong? So many people saw it. You can't deny what happened, Mr. Wang. Mr. Wang was furious. As if being humiliated in front of the students wasn't enough, he was being humiliated in front of the deputies as well. Of course, Mr. Wang was angry. By the way, I heard that even Mr. Wang's saber couldn't stop Feng Wu, Mr. Yin added. He and Mr. Wang had always had grudges against each other, and he wouldn't miss this opportunity. Seeing that Mr. Wang was going to lose his temper, Gong Sun Mu interjected, "In that case, what do you think Feng Wu should be? In Class E, Class D, or Class C?" Mr. In said, "Judging by her capability, of course, Feng Wu should be in Class C with us. All the students in Class D put together couldn't do anything." Needless to say, Mr. Wang didn't want to lose Feng Wu. He and Feng Wu were archenemies now. If Feng Wu went to Class C, she would be out of his reach forever. Thus, he smirked. That was because Huashan didn't take part in the fight. Feng Wu wouldn't have been his match. Mr. In laughed so hard that he was almost in tears. "Wang, you're just fooling yourself. No one else will believe you. Didn't you see Huashan's attitude toward Feng Wu? He was so humble. Don't you know why?" Mr. Wang snorted. "Boys are always humble around pretty girls. What's wrong with that? In, I bet you're just as humble when you're with your wife." Mr. In glanced at Mr. Wang. "Are you saying that Huashan showed Feng Wu respect because he has feelings for her?" Mr. Wang asked. "Can there be another reason?" Mr. In shook his head. "If you ask me, Feng Wu is too good for Huashan. Even if he's fond of Feng Wu, his feelings would be wasted. He's not good enough for her." Mr. Wang looked like he was going to explode. "You're making things up now? That's bullshit." Mr. In turned to Gong Sun Mu. "Class C will take Feng Wu." Mr. Wang also turned to Gong Sun Mu. "Feng Wu belongs in Class D." The two tutors were at a stalemate. Zhuo Qingwan frowned and seemed impatient. "Miss Qingwan, what do you think?" Gong Sun Mu tossed the question to Zhuo Qingwan. "What do I think?" Zhuo Qingwan smirked inwardly. She thought Feng Wu was the biggest hypocrite. Feng Wu wasn't much inferior to her. She was at least a level 6 or a level 7 spiritual lord, but she started in Class E. It was such an easy start, so she managed to shock so many people with the insignificant achievement of defeating Class D. Zhuo Qingwan was even more furious about Feng Wu. "She's a petty student from Class E. Do you seriously think she's worth this meeting?" Everyone was surprised. "A petty Class E student." Mr. In said, "She might have been a petty student before, but not anymore." Chapter 26:31, Genius Girl 3. Chapter 26:31, Genius Girl 3. She's going to be an important member of the War Academy. "Miss Zhuo, do you hold something against her?" "Why? Did Feng Wu offend you in some way?" Zhuo Qingwan almost choked on her own spit. She could continue harping on that subject since Feng Wu had done countless things to offend her. She glanced at Mr. In. "What do you think?" Zhuo Qingwan no longer tried to maintain the facade of a sacred lady. It was stopping her from doing many things she wanted to do. Therefore, she was implicitly telling the tutors that she didn't like Feng Wu, so they could torture her however they wanted. Unfortunately, she had underestimated the tutors. At first, people supported her because of the Crown Prince. However, they changed their minds as time went by. They learned what happened in the Imperial capital. The people there were still talking about the birthday fireworks. Hence, Zhuo Qingwan shouldn't have assumed that news of the Imperial capital could be kept out of the academy. The tutors weren't stupid. Classes A and B hadn't carried out an investigation because they weren't involved. However, Mr. In and Mr. Zhu had been outside recently. They knew which girl the Crown Prince had set off the fireworks for. Jun Linyuan the Sovereign descends to the world, and Feng Wu the Phoenix soars above the land. What a magnificent statement. When the Crown Prince was taken out of the equation, Zhuo Qingwan wasn't much different from everyone else. Mr. In smiled when he saw that Zhuo Qingwan wouldn't back down. "I think Feng Wu is excellent." Zhuo Qingwan's face paled. How foolish was Mr. In. She gave so many hints, but he was still singing Feng Wu's praises. Did he have a death wish? She glared at him. "Mr. In, are you saying you find Feng Wu an excellent student?" Mr. In smiled. "It's like what Huashan said. Xiao Wu is good-looking, talented, capable, and kind. I can't say a bad thing about her. I think she will be the most popular girl in the War Academy." Zhuo Qingwan was furious. She clenched her fists and wanted to kill Mr. In when no one was looking. Just then, Gong Sun Mu suggested, "In that case, why don't we let Feng Wu choose? She'll go to whichever class she wants to." Mr. In nodded with a smile. Mr. Wang didn't like the idea, but he couldn't think of an excuse to suggest otherwise. Mr. Zhu smiled bitterly. Feng Wu, she had only just joined the War Academy, and she was already going to Class C. But he knew perfectly well that with Feng Wu's capability, Class C wouldn't keep her for long either. Soon, Feng Wu arrived. She saw the 7 people sitting behind a row of desks, as if they were going to interview her. "Please take a seat." Gong Sun Mu had a good impression of Feng Wu and smiled at her. A single chair was placed opposite the desks. Feng Wu sensed hostility. When she followed the gaze, she saw that it was Zhuo Qingwan. She gave Zhuo Qingwan a meaningful smile. Zhuo Qingwan remained unaffected, as if Feng Wu's arrival didn't change anything, when in fact. Chapter 2632, Genius Girl 4. Chapter 2632, Genius Girl 4. Every time Zhuo Qingwan saw Feng Wu, she wanted to eat her alive. Feng Wu sensed more hostility and found that Mr. Wang was also glaring at her. She was amazed. "Mr. Wang, you're here. I see you're fine. I was worried." Mr. Wang asked angrily, "What could be wrong with me?" Feng Wu said, "So many of your students lost the fight yesterday. I heard you vomited 3 liters of blood and would need months to recover. I didn't expect to see you so soon." Mr. Wang was furious. Yes, he had vomited blood the day before out of frustration, but it was only 3 mouthfuls. It was never that serious. He cursed Feng Wu under his breath. However, he couldn't tell the others that it was only 3 mouthfuls. If he admitted that he had vomited any blood, it would make him seem incredibly petty. He took several deep breaths as he fought back his rage. He then gave Feng Wu a warning look. "Enough with the banter. You're here today because we want to hear your opinion." Feng Wu had given Mr. Wang a blow head-on at the very beginning, but Mr. Wang didn't dare cross the line. Feng Wu had total control over the situation. Mr. In was amazed. What an outstanding girl. They were the chief tutors of the War Academy. Any other students summoned here today would be so nervous about being in the same room with them. However, Feng Wu didn't seem nervous at all and even took the initiative to attack. She also hit her target on her first try and successfully intimidated Mr. Wang. It was so interesting to watch. He now understood why the Crown Prince cared so much for her. Zhuo Qingwan took a deep breath and glanced at Mr. Wang. She found a man too stupid to be helpful. Seeing that Mr. In was singing Feng Wu's praises, she made a mental note that she would get her revenge one day. Since Mr. In already knew what cards Zhuo Qingwan had, he was no longer afraid of her. Instead, he warmly welcomed Feng Wu and introduced her to all the tutors. Feng Wu remembered all their names. She smiled at Mr. In for his kindness. Mr. In was thrilled. At such a young age, the girl was already familiar with the ways of the world. How wonderful. He smiled at her. "Here's the thing. Since you've defeated virtually every student in Class D, the tutors of the Academy feel that it would be a waste of your talent to keep you in Class E. Mr. Wang doesn't think you're Huoshan's match, so he wants to keep you in Class D. However, I think you'll be an outstanding student even in Class C, and I would like you to join us. What do you think?" Mr. In smiled at Feng Wu. Skip a school year. Feng Wu was very familiar with skipping grades. She had done it before. Seeing the eager look in everyone's eyes, Feng Wu asked, "Are those the only 2 options I have?" What? Were these 2 options not enough? Mr. In sounded sorry when he said, "Miss Feng Wu, you can stay in Class E if you insist." Chapter 2633, Skip Grades 1. Chapter 2633, Skip Grades 1. What? Were these 2 options not enough? Mr. In sounded sorry when he said, Miss Feng Wu, you can stay in classy if you insist. Feng Wu asked, can I graduate directly? Mr. In spat out the tea in his mouth. Even Mr. Yang of Class B and Mr. Duan of Class A were shocked. At first, they appreciated Feng Wu's talent and wanted to observe her, but they didn't think so highly of her when they saw how proud she was. Zhuoqing Wan was glad to see that Feng Wu didn't make a good impression on the tutors. Graduate directly? Gong Sun Mu found the suggestion both annoying and hilarious. His Majesty had given him instructions that he should take good care of Feng Wu so that no one would pick on her. Gong Sun Mu also needed to ensure that no boys would approach Feng Wu. By the sound of it, the Emperor considered Feng Wu his future daughter-in-law. Old Mr. Gong Sun smiled bitterly. You can't skip so many grades. Not even His Majesty himself would make that request. Feng Wu was disappointed. Is that so? I'll go to Class A then. Mr. Ian expected Feng Wu to aim for something lower, but he was shocked when he heard that the girl still wanted something that seemed beyond her reach. Feng Wu, Mr. Ian said solemnly, yes, you're very talented, but the Academy has rules. You can't skip too many grades. 3 at a time is the most you can do. Feng Wu asked, so, are you saying that I can go to Class B? Mr. Ian nodded. Yes, Class B. Feng Wu frowned a little. That's a bit slow for me, but I guess I can live with it. I'll take Class B then. Mr. Ian was speechless. What did she mean by, I can live with it? Mr. Yang of Class B opened his eyes wide. Class B, he shook his head. No, I won't have her. Zhuoqing Wan smirked. She was the deputy head of this academy, but Feng Wu had been rejected by the tutor of Class B. Feng Wu would never be able to catch up with her. She believed it was fate. Feng Wu looked at Gong Sun Mu. Can he do that? Mr. Gong Sun smiled wryly. That depends on your own capability. If you can defeat a student from Class B, you'll have a chance to enter the class. Feng Wu frowned a little. What do you mean by I'll have a chance? Mr. Yang was rigorous in both his personality and his teaching. He didn't like students skipping grades, especially when it was a genius. He frowned at Feng Wu. If you can defeat the weakest student of Class B, you'll fulfill the minimum requirement for joining the class. When that happens, the tutors will have a vote to decide if you can enter Class B. Feng Wu nodded. What if I can defeat the top student of Class B? Mr. Yang was once again surprised by Feng Wu. He had taught many students, but he had never met anyone so shameless. Almost all the tutors felt the same. The girl was as pretty as she was shameless. Chapter 2634, Skip Grades 2. Chapter 2634, Skip Grades 2. What did you say? Mr. Yang stared at Feng Wu. He didn't like opinionated students, even if they were geniuses. What if I can beat the top student of Class B? Feng Wu didn't care what other people thought of her. She smiled the entire time. Her eyes were as bright as stars, and she was as pretty as a picture. The other tutors thought, what a shame. She's so wonderful, but she's too arrogant. Mr. Yang snorted. You'll be the top student of Class B if you can beat Shan Jingfei. Almost everyone in the academy knew who Shan Jingfei was. She was a student of Class B, but she was also the most popular girl in the War Academy. Wu Lingwei was nothing in comparison. Feng Wu nodded. I'll fight her then. Mr. In like how forthright she was. She was a girl of action, but others might take it for arrogance. He tried to persuade her otherwise. Shan Jingfei is the top student of Class B. She's even good enough to go to Class A. Feng Wu nodded. Yup, Mr. In said, why don't we start from the last student on the billboard? Feng Wu said, that's all right. Shan Jingfei will do. Mr. In shrugged at Mr. Yang. He had tried, but she wouldn't listen. Mr. Yang was usually a mild-tempered man, but he was frustrated by Feng Wu's statement. Suit yourself, then. You'll fight Shan Jingfei. Feng Wu was talented, but one needed time to train their skills. Her good looks could only get her so far. Mr. Yang smirked and gave the order. The air felt stuffy as they waited for Shan Jingfei to arrive. No one dared to break the silence. Mr. Zhu stared at his hands on the table and was filled with emotions. Mr. Wang smirked. This presumptuous girl would be humiliated. Mr. Yin was worried for Feng Wu, but couldn't do anything. Mr. Yang seemed displeased. Mr. Duan was from Class A. He decided that it was none of his business. Mr. Gongsun shook his head, and Zhu Qingwan had a sarcastic look on her face. Anyone else would be scared out of their wits under the pressure of all the attention, but Feng Wu only stood there with her hands behind her back. She was even smiling, as if nothing in the world could bother her. Just then, they heard approaching footsteps. The silence was broken. Shan Jingfei walked in. When she saw all the tutors and school heads, she couldn't help but feel nervous. Although she was used to being the center of attention, she still greeted all the teachers flusteredly. The teachers smiled bitterly. That was how a regular student should react. Feng Wu was too calm. Mr. Yang asked, Jingfei, I assume you're currently the top student on the billboard. Is that correct? Under Zhu Qingwan's gaze, Shan Jingfei found it hard to breathe. She said in a low voice, yes. Mr. Yang nodded. You'll fight Feng Wu today. Feng Wu. Shan Jingfei knew that name. On her way here, she had heard other students say that once Feng Wu rose to Class B, she herself wouldn't be the most popular girl anymore. Shan Jingfei had always assumed an otherworldly manner, as if she didn't care about fame. In fact, she cared very much. Comment 2 comments vote send gift. Chapter 2634, Skip Grades 2. What did you say? Mr. Yang stared at Feng Wu. He didn't like opinionated students, even if they were geniuses. What if I can beat the top student of Class B? Feng Wu didn't care what other people thought of her. She smiled the entire time. Her eyes were as bright as stars, and she was as pretty as a picture. The other tutors thought, what a shame. She's so wonderful, but she's too arrogant. Mr. Yang snorted. You'll be the top student of Class B if you can beat Shan Jingfei. Almost everyone in the academy knew who Shan Jingfei was. She was a student of Class B, but she was also the most popular girl in the War Academy. Wu Lingyue was nothing in comparison. Feng Wu nodded. He had tried, but she wouldn't listen. Mr. Yang was usually a mild-tempered man, but he was frustrated by Feng Wu's statement. Suit yourself, then. You'll fight Shan Jingfei. Feng Wu was talented, but one needed time to train their skills. Her good looks could only get her so far. Mr. Yang smirked and gave the order. The air felt stuffy as they waited for Shan Jingfei to arrive. No one dared to break the silence. Mr. Zhu stared at his hands on the table and was filled with emotions. Mr. Wang smirked. This presumptuous girl would be humiliated. Mr. Yin was worried for Feng Wu, but couldn't do anything. Mr. Yang seemed displeased. Mr. Duan was from Class A. He decided that it was none of his business. Mr. Gongsun shook his head, and Zhu Qingwan had a sarcastic look on her face. Anyone else would be scared out of their wits under the pressure of all the attention, but Feng Wu only stood there with her hands behind her back. She was even smiling, as if nothing in the world could bother her. Just then, they heard approaching footsteps. The silence was broken. Shan Jingfei walked in. When she saw all the tutors and school heads, she couldn't help but feel nervous. Although she was used to being the center of attention, she still greeted all the teachers flusteredly. The teachers smiled bitterly. That was how a regular student should react. Feng Wu was too calm. Mr. Yang asked, Jingfei, I assume you're currently the top student on the billboard. Is that correct? Under Zhu Qingwan's gaze, Shan Jingfei found it hard to breathe. She said in a low voice, yes. Mr. Yang nodded. You'll fight Feng Wu today. Feng Wu. Shan Jingfei knew that name. On her way here, she had heard other students say that once Feng Wu rose to Class B, she herself wouldn't be the most popular girl anymore. Shan Jingfei had always assumed an otherworldly manner, as if she didn't care about fame. In fact, she cared very much. Chapter 2635, Skip Grades 3. Chapter 2635, Skip Grades 3. Shan Jingfei smirked. She wanted to see how beautiful this Feng Wu could be. She couldn't possibly be more beautiful than Miss Qingwan. She turned around. Her pupils contracted when she saw Feng Wu's face. She was astonished. What a beautiful girl. Her red dress almost seemed like it was on fire. Her bright and shiny eyes reminded one of a crisp autumn day. She was slender, graceful, and charming. Her skin was unbelievably smooth, and she looked like someone who didn't belong to this world. Expressions to describe a beautiful woman popped into Shan Jingfei's head. They were the words the boys used with her, but now. She felt so common when she compared herself with Feng Wu. Zhuo Qingwan was beautiful, but Feng Wu easily outshone her. That thought appeased Shan Jingfei a little. If she had seen Feng Wu on the first day of school, she wouldn't be so surprised today. However, she hadn't looked back that day, so she had missed Feng Wu and hadn't been amazed by her beauty until now. When Shan Jingfei finally woke up from her astonishment, there was jealousy in her eyes. "Mister," Yang said, "you can start now." "Mister," Yin said, "don't go too far. Please don't hurt Miss Feng Wu." "Mister," Yang rolled his eyes at Mister. "Yin, we can't promise that in a battle. You never know where they will get hit." "Mister," Yin wanted to tell Mister Yang that he was trying to help all of them. He had been told that Feng Wu was the crown prince's favorite. With that, Mister Yin said, "Isn't Shan Jingfei the top student of Class B? She must be so much more capable. I'm sure she has perfect control over the force she'll use. Please don't harm Feng Wu." Mister Yang didn't say anything else. Shan Jingfei nodded, but she was smirking inwardly. They should thank me for my kindness if I don't kill her now. Not harm Feng Wu. Mister Yin is as hypocritical as ever. At that thought, she turned to Feng Wu and said sarcastically, "Feng Wu, to show Mister Yin some respect, I'll let you make the first move. I'll start fighting after you make 3 moves." Feng Wu shook her head. "That won't be necessary." Shan Jingfei smirked inwardly, but she still said, "Don't blame me if I defeat you within 3 moves." She struck out immediately after that. She didn't spare any effort. She knew that if Feng Wu managed to get in more than 3 strikes, there was a big chance of her getting into Class B. If that happened, Shan Jingfei probably wouldn't be the most popular girl in the War Academy anymore. It was a formidable strike. Shan Jingfei wasn't going to give Feng Wu any chance. The tutor saw through her plan right away and believed that Feng Wu was doomed. "Feng Wu won't withstand this strike, Mister," Yang said calmly. "It's an extraordinary move. Not only is Shan Jingfei exerting all her power, she's also made some clever modifications. Even a Class A student would struggle to avoid it." Mister Yin saw it too and looked worried. However, Shan Jingfei might have a good plan, but no one could guarantee that things would turn out the way she wanted. She was aiming at Feng Wu's heart. The strike would crush Feng Wu's heart and kill her instantly. Chapter 2636, Skip Grades 4. Chapter 2636, Skip Grades 4. Mister Yin cried out, "Stop!" Mister Gongsun was about to intervene when Feng Wu dodged the attack. She moved so fast that there was an afterimage in the air. Shan Jingfei was furious after she missed. How dare Feng Wu try to evade? However, Feng Wu took out her weapon before Shan Jingfei could do anything. No one knew how she made a move. However, when they looked again, a sword was pressed to Shan Jingfei's throat, and Feng Wu was asking, well, she was so calm. It was as if this was the more regular thing. She didn't even flinch. Shan Jingfei froze on the spot. She tried to dodge, but the blade cut into her flesh at the slightest movement. "Stop!" Shan Jingfei screamed when she felt the pain. Her voice trembled. Not all the tutors reacted the same way. Mr. Zhu wasn't shocked. Feng Wu could beat him. Of course she could beat Shan Jingfei. Mr. Wang was frowning and was obviously shocked. Mr. Yin cried out. He didn't expect Feng Wu to be so capable. Mr. Yang was even more surprised when he saw Shan Jingfei defeated in the first strike. Shan Jingfei was the most astonished of them all. Feng Wu smiled at her without saying a word. Shan Jingfei knew that Feng Wu was waiting for her to admit defeat. But she couldn't bear the thought. It would be so humiliating. She was the top student of Class B and the dream girl of many boys, but now, a new student was pointing a sword at her throat. Shan Jingfei refused to give in. Thinking that Feng Wu had let her guard down, Shan Jingfei took a dagger out of her sleeve. What happened next was quicker than words could describe. She aimed the dagger at Feng Wu's heart. She wanted everyone to see that she was the winner, not Feng Wu. Would she succeed? Many people held their breaths. Even Gongsun Mu prepared to intervene if Feng Wu's life was in danger. After all, His Majesty had left him with instructions. Zhuoqing Wan sneered inwardly. If Gongsun Mu dared to intervene, she would stop him. The battle might as well happen among the tutors. Luckily, Feng Wu didn't need help. She grabbed Shan Jingfei's wrist when the latter came at her with a dagger, and she twisted it. Crack! It was the sound of bones breaking. Shan Jingfei's scream was ear-splitting. The bones in her right wrist were broken, and her hand didn't even look like a hand anymore. It swelled up as she watched. Feng Wu, how dare you? Shan Jingfei's life had been smooth sailing ever since she was little, and she had never felt so much pain. Feng Wu smiled as she pressed the fallen star sword to Shan Jingfei's throat. Do you know where I'll hurt you next? She stared at Shan Jingfei's throat. Shan Jingfei's heart sank. She had thought that it was sheer luck at first when Feng Wu was able to defeat her, but when Feng Wu broke her wrist, Shan Jingfei realized how formidable Feng Wu really was. She didn't hold many grudges against Feng Wu. Right now, she was overwhelmed by the energy Feng Wu was giving off. Chapter 2637 Feng Wu's Reign 1 Chapter 2637 Feng Wu's Reign 1 I give up. Filled with despair, Shan Jingfei admitted defeat. Feng Wu withdrew her sword. The teachers didn't know what to say for a moment. Mr. Yin said, Feng Wu, you won. I can't believe it. Feng Wu gave him a little nod. Mr. Yin had been kind to her the whole time, so Feng Wu smiled at him. She then turned to Mr. Yang of Class B. He was the most astonished of them all. Shan Jingfei was the top student of Class B, and Feng Wu had defeated her in 2 strikes. It was enough to prove her capability. Mr. Yang didn't hold any grudges against Feng Wu, so he wasn't going to make trouble for her. You'll be in Class B then? Mr. Yang gave the final verdict. He only felt a little embarrassed. Feng Wu wanted to graduate sooner, so she looked at Gongsun Mu. Gongsun Mu smiled wryly. Feng Wu, you can only skip so many grades at one time. Feng Wu finally gave up trying and sighed. Fine. The teachers were still trying to digest the information when Feng Wu left. Mr. Yin said to Mr. Wang, Feng Wu has gone to Class B just like that. Mr. Wang didn't want to say anything. Mr. Yin sighed. We were discussing if she should go to Class C or Class D, but she went directly to Class B. Mr. Wang's face turned even darker. Mr. Yin, he shook his head. A real genius will eventually be discovered. Mr. Wang's expression was livid. Shan Jingfei couldn't stand all the discussion and was about to leave when someone knocked on the door. Hello, I'm Huashan. May I challenge Miss Shan Jingfei? Huashan asked with a smile. Many eyes followed Feng Wu after she left the office. Which class do you think she'll be in? Didn't Mr. Wang say that she'll be in Class D? But Mr. Yin said Class C would take her. Look, she's so calm. If it really is Class C, she should look thrilled. The rumor got around, and soon every student in Class D and Class E thought that Feng Wu was going to Class D. In room 2001, Xiao Wu, are you going to Class D? Ziling asked nervously. Feng Wu shook her head. Ziling was relieved. So, Xiao Wu would remain in Class C. Class D, is Feng Wu coming to our class? All of Class D was astonished by the news. Feng Wu had defeated virtually all the students in Class D. Moreover, she had done it all by herself. That was how terrifying Feng Wu was. The fear of being dominated by Feng Wu filled their hearts. Damn it, why is she coming to our class? Why can't she stay in Class C? Wu Lingyue felt as if she would never see the sun again. In Class C, many students were interested in the event and discussed it among themselves. Meng Lu, the top student of Class C, frowned when he heard the discussion. She's just some newbie in Class C. Why are all of you so concerned? Meng Lu, they said that Feng Wu might join our class. Meng Lu smirked. I'm sure she's not good enough. Chapter 2638, Feng Wu's Reign 2. Chapter 2638, Feng Wu's Reign 2. Mr. Yin entered the classroom at that moment. He gave Meng Lu, the student he had once been proud of, a strange look. He shook his head. The decision would soon be announced. In Class B, if no one in Class C believed that Feng Wu would be joining them, it was only natural that no one in Class B expected to see Feng Wu in their class. They had little interest in what happened in Class E, which was so much more inferior to them. However, Feng Wu was such a pretty girl that many people couldn't help talking about her. But they were using such condescending tones. I heard that Feng Wu is going to skip grades. Even so, she's only going to Class D, which is still far below us. It's not our concern. Come to think of it, Feng Wu is beautiful. Being pretty won't do her any good. A real goddess should have talent as well, like Shan Jingfei. Shan Jingfei didn't know what to say. The conversation gave her complicated feelings. Feng Wu had defeated her in 2 strikes, and she had yet to recover from the fear. As for good looks, Feng Wu was probably 100 times prettier. The thought made her want to cry. Feng Wu is very talented. Ling Hao spoke up for Feng Wu. She defeated the whole of Class D all by herself. That's enough to get her into Class C. Could any of us do that when we were new students? Ling Hao had met Feng Wu once. He had led Feng Wu to the registration office when she first came. Ling Hao's team had met her as well, and they all had a good impression of Feng Wu, with Yi Han being the only exception. Yi Han gave Ling Hao a dirty look. Ling Hao was confused. Had he said something wrong? Forget it. Why are we talking about nobody? Xing Xuan, Shan Jingfei's friend, said arrogantly. We should be paying attention to Class A and trying to get in there. That's our top priority. Someone as petty as Feng Wu isn't worth our attention. That's right, said Mu Shuai, Shan Jingfei's most loyal supporter. It'll take years for Feng Wu to come to Class B, and by then, we'll probably have graduated already. Just ignore her. Ling Hao wanted to retort, but was interrupted. The broadcast system was making a buzzing noise. It had been a while since that happened. Immediately, all eyes were on the device. It was a chunk of black jade stone which the school used to broadcast all important announcements. If anyone was looking at Shan Jingfei now, they would see that she was ghastly pale and had clenched her fists. Announcement! Announcement! Miss Feng Wu of Class E has demonstrated great talent and performed outstandingly. She is qualified to join Class B. The school has given her special permission to skip grades. End of announcement. Just like all other broadcasts, the announcement was only played once. It had always been that way. However, it was such a shocking piece of news. Class E fell silent. It took them a long while to realize what they had just heard. Sun Jingyu stared at Feng Wu. So did all her classmates in class. Chapter 2639, Feng Wu's Reign 3. Chapter 2639, Feng Wu's Reign 3. Class B? Xiao Wu, you've jumped to Class B. I thought it was Class D. Class B, oh my god. You skipped 2 grades. That's incredible. Feng Wu's fans couldn't control their excitement. Lu Qi was still the head of the anti-fans. By then, there were fewer than 10 of them left. They all looked like they had been struck by lightning. Feng Wu was going to be a Class B student. Sun Jingyu and Pei Si took a deep breath and understood why that was. If she could defeat Mr. Luo with one strike, she naturally belonged to Class B. Ziling didn't know if she should laugh or cry. Her idol was go to Class B, but she soon clenched her fists and told herself that she had to work harder or she would never be able to see Feng Wu again, let alone hang out with her. Chaoga had always known Feng Wu's capability, so she had been training hard since she joined the War Academy. She knew she would soon skip grades as well. Class D, Wu Lingwei was speechless. So were all her classmates. In Class C, Menglu was dumbfounded, and his classmates were at a loss over what to say. It took Menglu a long while to recover from the shock. When he did come back to his senses, he felt as if he had been slapped. He had said some condescending things about Feng Wu, but Feng Wu had already risen above him. In Class B, Yihan was speechless. So was Ling Hao and Xing Xuan. Mu Shuai was at a loss over what to say. The entire class was shocked. They all looked like they had been struck by lightning. What? Feng Wu. Class B. She's coming to our class. Didn't Mu Shuai say that it would take her years to get to Class B? Mu Shuai was at a loss. Everyone turned to Shan Jingfei. Now that Feng Wu had entered Class B, with how pretty she was, Shan Jingfei would undoubtedly feel threatened. Xing Xuan cleared her throat. So what if Feng Wu comes to our class? She must be the weakest student here. She won't be my match, let alone Jingfei's. Shan Jingfei grew even paler. Just then, they heard footsteps outside. Everybody looked up. Mr. Yang had arrived with Feng Wu. They all saw Feng Wu. When Zhu Qingwan picked on Feng Wu on the first day, Class B had been standing in the front, and the students had only vaguely seen Feng Wu's face. Now, she was standing right in front of them. What a beautiful girl. She wore a red dress. She had bright eyes, exquisite features, and the smoothest skin. She was slender and graceful. One didn't know where to begin to praise her. How incredible. She looked like she didn't belong to this world. Is that Feng Wu? Is that really her? She? Oh my God. The female students grew pale when they saw how beautiful Feng Wu was. Chapter 2640, Feng Wu's Reign 4. Chapter 2640, Feng Wu's Reign 4. The boys were so stunned that they forgot to blink. Xiao Wu, Ling Hao was thrilled to see Feng Wu and waved at her. Feng Wu smiled at Ling Hao when she recognized him. The smile only accentuated her beautiful features. The boys were dumbfounded. Their new classmate was so stunning. They felt so blessed to have her. Shan Jingfei grew even paler. She stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu just happened to meet her gaze. Feng Wu smiled slightly when their eyes met, but Shan Jingfei involuntarily looked away. The fear she felt when Feng Wu defeated her grew even stronger. Xing Xuan gritted her teeth. She wanted to say something, but she was filled with jealousy when she saw how the boys goggled at Feng Wu. She didn't know what to say. Standing on the podium, Mr. Yang saw everyone's reactions. He shook his head slightly when he saw Shan Jingfei. She had lost this battle. It wasn't just because of her lack of capability. She had lost because she didn't have courage. He had yet to decide if Feng Wu's arrival was good or bad news for Class B. With that in mind, he said to all the students, I think you've all heard the broadcast, so there's no need for me to say more. Let me introduce your new classmate to you. This is Feng Wu. Ling Hao immediately started applauding. His team members followed suit. Xing Xuan and Shan Jingfei were displeased. They wanted these people to stop clapping. However, the two of them couldn't control what the boys did. After Ling Hao started applauding, the other boys did the same. There were only a few of them at first, but gradually, everybody was doing it. We have two other new members. Mr. Yang gestured at two people behind him. One was Gu Xingyuan, and the other was Huashan. This is Gu Xingyuan. He's from Class E. This is Huashan. He's from Class D. Please find your seats. The class will start in a moment. The other students were dumbfounded. All these three had skipped grades. Seriously? However, Feng Wu seemed to be the center of all the attention. The students weren't as excited when the two other newcomers were introduced. Xiao Wu, Ling Hao shouted excitedly. Come here and sit with us. Yihan's face was livid. As Ling Hao's team member, she naturally sat with her team members. As for Feng Wu, Yihan used to share the same dormitory with her. However, she suffered an utter defeat on the day Feng Wu arrived and had never set foot in room 2001 since. Now that Feng Wu had joined Class B, one could only imagine how furious Yihan was. To make it worse, Ling Hao was so enthusiastic about Feng Wu. Yihan turned around and glared at Ling Hao. Ling Hao, I'm warning you. If you keep sucking up to her, I'll leave this team. Ling Hao was speechless. Yihan looked away before he could say anything. Chapter 2641, Class B. Chapter 2641, Class B. Ling Hao looked at Xiao Xiao, his team leader. Xiao Xiao shrugged and refused to get involved. Ling Hao whispered something in Xiao Xiao's ear, but Xiao Xiao cleared his throat and said, It's up to you. I'm not saying anything. By then, Feng Wu was by Ling Hao's side. Ling Hao immediately stood up and pulled the chair out for her. Feng Wu casually sat down. Yihan stiffened, and her face turned livid. She had warned Ling Hao, but he still dared to act that way. She turned around and glared at Ling Hao with eyes burning with fury. Ling Hao shrugged in resignation. Yihan gave Feng Wu one last mean look before she smacked her book on the desk and stormed off. Feng Wu was already the center of attention. When that happened, all eyes were on her. Everybody discussed it in hushed voices. Why did Yihan run off? I heard them just then. Yihan doesn't like Feng Wu, but Ling Hao invited Feng Wu over, which upset Yihan. Yihan is one of Ling Hao's team members. I thought she was quite popular. It seems that Feng Wu is going to be their new favorite. She's a piece of work. She's only just gotten here, and she's already driven Yihan away. That's just mean. You don't say. I heard Yihan and Ling Hao are a couple, but Feng Wu just inserted herself in between them. Ling Hao was already angry, and he couldn't hold back anymore. He shouted, You can't make things up? Since when am I a couple with Yihan? If I have to like a girl, it would be Shan Jingfei. It definitely wouldn't be Yihan. The students nearby all cleared their throats. Shan Jingfei didn't know what to say. She was secretly delighted, but she had to put on an annoyed look. Xing Xuan gave her a nudge. What? Shan Jingfei feigned an upset tone. Xing Xuan smiled. She knew how to make trouble for Feng Wu, the person she hated the most. After class, Ling Hao showed Feng Wu around, introducing her to all the facilities and cultivation rooms. The points worked in all 5 classes. As one moved up the classes, they could earn more points. For instance, one could only earn 100 or 200 points in an event in Class C. According to Ling Hao, one could earn up to 10,000 points in an event in Class B. We earn more points, but we spend more as well, Ling Hao told Feng Wu when they arrived at the cultivation rooms. These rooms will cost you 500 points an hour. If we want to improve our cultivation level, we need to do everything we can earn points. By the way, Ling Hao asked solemnly, How many points do you have? Feng Wu gave it some thought. 1,000, I think. Ling Hao said, Well, you're broke then. Here's the plan. You'll be joining my team for future tasks. Feng Wu asked, I thought you already have 5 members. Ling Hao said, There are 3 new students now, and you can't have a 3-member team. I think Mr. Yang would like you to join an existing team so that we can help you out. 6-member teams are allowed under special circumstances. What do you think? Are you in? Feng Wu didn't say yes right away, so Ling Hao said, Don't worry. Yihan is just being girly. She's a nice person. You'll see. Maybe you'll even be friends in the future. Chapter 2642, Trophy. Chapter 2642, Trophy. Yihan. Friends. Feng Wu didn't think so. However, she decided to let Ling Hao think that way if it made him happy. She just shrugged. The hunt will be in a few days. Xiao Wu, you better prepare some medicine for treating wounds, Ling Hao said solemnly. Hunts in Class B are very different from Class E's. You may need some time to get used to it. Feng Wu asked curiously, how are they different? Ling Hao said, the significant difference is that the school doesn't tell us what to hunt. Once we team up and enter the hunting zone, anything can happen. Class E and Class D hunt in the outer ring of the forest, while we hunt in the middle ring. Tutors oversee your hunts, and you can ask them for help when things go wrong. We don't have that privilege. The top team of Class E is rewarded with 100 or 200 points, but ours can earn up to 10,000 points. And there's more. Ling Hao switched to a mysterious tone. You can choose whether or not you want a hand in the crystal cores you find. Feng Wu asked, can I keep them for myself? Is that allowed? Ling Hao said, of course. Do you know Shan Jingfei? She's the most popular girl in the academy. Feng Wu nodded. Not only that, Feng Wu had also defeated that girl in 2 strikes. Ling Hao said, of course, now that you're here, she's hardly the prettiest girl. You shouldn't be too proud, since she's much more capable than you. His tone was sincere. Yes, pretty girls have a special advantage, but will only respect a pretty girl when they have the capability to match. Feng Wu, you have to work harder to catch up to Shan Jingfei. Promise? Feng Wu said, all right. Ling Hao asked, you didn't even think about it. Feng Wu asked, what's wrong with that? Ling Hao said, you sounded like you were being offhand with me. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Ling Hao asked, do you know why I want you to beat Shan Jingfei? Feng Wu asked why. Ling Hao said, because she's crossed the line. Do you know who Xiao Xiao is? He's our team leader. Feng Wu said, I know. Ling Hao said, he wrote Shan Jingfei a love letter the other day. She could have turned him down since she didn't have feelings for him, but she didn't do that. Instead, she's been giving him false hope. Every time she sees Xiao Xiao, she's so shy and innocent, as if she's interested in him, but she won't go out with him. Ling Hao clenched his fists. When I asked the girls, I was told that Shan Jingfei and her roommates see Xiao Xiao as a laughingstock. He's just another trophy for her to collect. Do you know what the worst part is? What is it? Feng Wu casually asked. Ling Hao snarled. Shan Jingfei wrote the names of all the boys who have ever pursued her on the wall next to her bed. It's become her collection. Feng Wu almost wanted to applaud the girl. Ling Hao said, because Xiao Xiao is the most earnest one, they're saying the worst things about him. Feng Wu said, you can tell Xiao Xiao what's going on. Chapter 2643, Me or Her. Chapter 2643, Me or Her. Ling Hao shook his head. I can't. Xiao Xiao will be devastated. I haven't told anyone. Feng Wu said, that's Xiao Xiao's business. It doesn't have anything to do with me, and I'm not obliged to get revenge for him. Ling Hao said, you don't have to do that. I just find Shan Jingfei so fake. She doesn't deserve to be seen as a school goddess. I hope you can replace her. Don't worry. Ling Hao patted her on the shoulder. I'll give you a hand. Feng Wu said, thank you very much. Ling Hao didn't notice the false modesty in her tone, and he smiled. Don't worry about it. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Soon, it was the day of the hunt. Feng Wu still lived in room 2001, and she didn't know many people in Class B. Most students stayed with their existing teams. The group around Shan Jingfei was huge because everyone wanted to be on the same team as her. Not only was she competent, she was also pretty. It would be such a sweet deal. However, Shan Jingfei wouldn't team up with just anyone. She had her own team. But now, she walked up to Gu Xingyuan and smiled at him. Huishan approached Feng Wu. Feng Wu, let's team up, he said earnestly. Feng Wu was the crown prince's girl, and the crown prince was like the boss of his boss. Because of that, Huishan decided he should jump onto Feng Wu's wagon while he had the chance. I'm sorry. Ling Hao joined him at that moment and smiled at Huishan. Feng Wu is on my team. Then I'll join you too, Huishan said without hesitation. Ling Hao frowned. We want to have you, but we already have 6 people. I'm sorry. Huishan looked from Ling Hao to the people behind him. There are only 5 of you. Where's the 6th one? Xiao Xiao, Wang Ji, Ling Hao, Cheng Feng, and Feng Wu. There were indeed only 5 people. Yihan is with us, too. Ling Hao turned around to look for her and saw her a few steps away, so he waved at her. Yihan, over here. Yihan walked toward them, but her face darkened when she saw Feng Wu. What's she doing here? She pointed at Feng Wu and asked harshly. Ling Hao wanted Yihan to play nice, so he said, Feng Wu is our newest team member. Yihan angrily cut him off. Ling Hao, didn't you hear what I said before? Ling Hao is an outgoing guy, but that didn't mean that he would let other people pick on him. He lost his temper as well. His face darkened. Yihan, please don't shout at me. Yihan grew angrier. She pointed at Ling Hao. I made things very clear. You can only have one of us on the team. It's either her or me. And you just ignored me. You dragged her into our team. Ling Hao, are you trying to get rid of me? Ling Hao frowned. Yihan, you're deliberately twisting my words. Yihan said, I'm twisting your words? Ling Hao, what's that supposed to mean? Ling Hao said, we're all classmates here. Yihan smirked. Really? Do you think so? Chapter 2644, Fire Dragon Blood. Chapter 2644, Fire Dragon Blood. Yihan turned to the others. Xiao Xiao. She stared at her team leader. What do you say? Xiao Xiao said coldly, stop being a baby. Just join the team. Being a baby? Is that what you think this is? Yihan felt so wrong that she trembled from head to toe. She looked angrily at each of her teammates in turn. Wang Ji and Cheng Fong both remained indifferent. Fine, fine. You all think I'm a baby, right? I'll give you what you want. Yihan smirked. I'm leaving this team. She stormed off after that. Ling Hao said, Yihan, no team will take you if you leave now. Just come back. Yihan smirked. I'm an expert in both wood and fire elements, and I'm a medicine refiner. I can cure people. More than enough teams will want me. She glanced at Feng Wu. When you're injured, she can treat you. She was right. Another team soon accepted her. Ling Hao and his team members didn't seem so happy. Huishan smiled. Can I join you now? Ling Hao looked at Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao frowned and looked Huishan up and down. What level are you? I'm a level 5 spiritual lord. Nice. Xiao Xiao was impressed. That was almost as advanced as he was. Join us then. Xiao Xiao nodded. However, he didn't believe that Huishan was better than he was. What about you? He asked Feng Wu. Feng Wu said, I'm better than Huishan. Ling Hao burst out laughing. Ling Hao patted her on the shoulder and whispered, Feng Wu, can you keep your voice down when you brag? Other people can hear you. Feng Wu asked, so what? Ling Hao said, we all know you just left class C. There's a limit no matter how talented you are. You and Huishan are both too proud. Ling Hao shrugged at Cheng Fong. New students nowadays are so arrogant. They're not like us at all. Cheng Fong glanced at Feng Wu. Yihan had been their team member for a long time, but she stormed off as soon as Feng Wu arrived. Someone as upright as Cheng Fong couldn't understand it. He cast a stern look at Feng Wu and turned away. Mr. Yang arrived at that moment to announce the task. You're going to the middle ring this time, so all of you have to be careful. Your life can be in danger at any moment. Magical beasts in that area are intelligent. They'll team up, and the smarter ones can attack in formations. They'll be tough to handle. When you go in, don't just focus on killing magical beasts, taking the crystal cores, and collecting materials. The most important thing is to protect yourselves. The first team will receive an unprecedented reward. Mr. Yang raised a pot of blood-red liquid in his hand. This is fire dragon blood. The crowd erupted. Fire dragon blood. I can't believe it. Cheng Fong was the most excited one. What's that? Huishan was new here, so he didn't know what it was. Chapter 2645, Seeded Team. Chapter 2645, Seeded Team. It can double one's physical strength. Cheng Fong was thrilled. Although it's only a small pot, that's a rare material. Feng Wu's eyes flickered when she saw the fire dragon blood. She was about to refine some pills for both herself and her friends. The medicine could enhance one's strength, and fire dragon blood was one of the chief ingredients. What a lucky coincidence. Feng Wu smiled. Only the team with the highest points can have it. Mr. Yang was very straightforward. And there's more. More. The individual student with the highest points will become a member of the seeded team in the Martial Arts Society. Mr. Yang announced. Wow, really? A member of the seeded team? I thought they recruited from Class A only. They're considering Class B now? It was followed by an avid discussion, but Feng Wu was perplexed. Hua Shan explained to her, the Martial Arts Society is one of the societies in the War Academy, and the seeded team will have battles with other schools on behalf of the academy. Feng Wu asked other schools. Hua Shan said, that's right. Things haven't been quiet among different schools. The tutors can't fight one another, so they let the teams fight instead. Feng Wu asked, isn't Imperial College the best school? Hua Shan gave her a strange look. Feng Wu asked, am I wrong? Hua Shan shook his head. 5 years ago, Imperial College was the best school, and no one would dare challenge us, but things are different now. Feng Wu asked, how so? Before Hua Shan could say anything, Mr. Yang spoke again. The student with the highest score will have the rare chance to join the seeded team. As we all know, that team is the core of Imperial College. Once you join them, you'll become the honor of this school. Once you get in, it'll be much easier for you to receive resources from the school, and you'll make rapid progress. The students listened with sparkling eyes. All they could think of were the words highest score and seeded team. Feng Wu would be lying if she didn't admit that she was intrigued. Her cultivation progress had been going slowly. She needed a lot of crystal cores to provide her with enough spiritual essence. That was the only way she could become a spiritual king as soon as possible. Zhuo Qingluan was a level 1 spiritual king, which was why she could flaunt her prowess in Imperial College. Once Feng Wu became a spiritual king, she could confront Zhuo Qingluan. The idea made Feng Wu want to join that team even more. Feng Wu asked, isn't Imperial College the best school? She asked Hua Shan again. Hua Shan shook his head. The military academy has been on the rise lately, and they're catching up to us. I heard from my cousin that they've officially challenged us, and we're not sure we can win. Feng Wu frowned. Why is that? That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.